On this very long Tasty Cast, we discuss October's game releases. We talk about games we've been playing for like the last 3 weeks, including Far Cry 6, Battlefield 2042, and we have a long, in-depth discussion on New World, so stay tuned for that if you're curious about our opinions on that. We also watch videos of Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, Earth Defense Force 6 from the Tokyo Game Show, and we lament the loss of all the brands Ubisoft owns when we watch Ghost Recon Frontline, the new battle royale from Ubisoft, bastardizing another franchise that I loved so much. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're in a new month, so make sure to download and play Hell Let Loose, Mortal Kombat X, and PGA Tour 2K21, all off for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know what we thought of those games, and we will let you know what we thought of them. And our game of the month, picked by you guys, is Grand Theft Auto Online. We will be playing that this month and talking about it at the end of the month for Game of the Month, so come back for that as well. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel even more than liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. If you're brand new, let's get into Tastecast. Let's have this long conversation. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 149 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast where we talk about random things in gaming. My name's Seth, and of course, joining me today is Chevy. Chris cannot make it because of life stuff, but when he comes back, we will talk to him and catch up on some stuff that we talked about last month for Plus Club and Game of the Month. Chevy, we have been playing a lot of games lately.
At least since we've recorded.
We got a lot to talk about. Our what we've been playing discussion, I think, is going to be a lot longer than normal, considering we've both played New World. I've been playing Far Cry 6. I played the Battlefield 2042 beta, and we both played Final Fantasy Origins. So is that what it's called? Origin?
Stranger of Paradise.
Stranger in Paradise. I hate that name. But we are going to talk about that. You excited to have this conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Super excited.
Excitement is my middle name.
Going fucking crazy. I'm excited because this is the first time in weeks that I have all my energy back. I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to get videos coming out again because it's been a long stall, and it's not been very fun. So this is the first Tastecast of this month, so we're going to start this episode off with game releases. Typically, we start off with what we've been playing. We'll get to that in a sec. But we're going to talk about games that have come out and that are coming out this month. This is via thegamer.com. It was updated 3 days ago, so it should be fairly accurate. We're going to go through this. We're going to talk about our hype on the games that are coming out this month and talk about our not hype for other games, possibly. All right, so let's get into this. October 1st, we got FIFA 22 that came out on October 1st for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series and PC. On October 5th, Alan Wake Remastered came out. I completely forgot already. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Also on October 5th, we got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, which is getting like 7s and 8s. Very interesting to see. Came out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Switch and PC. So everything. Yeah. Everyone got that one. Makes sense. October 5th, also, a lot of October 5ths here. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which I've been seeing a lot on everywhere. It's really interesting. Came out on Switch, of course. Also on October 5th, we got Jet the Far Shore on PS4 and PS5. October 5th as well, we got Lego Marvel Superheroes on Switch. October 6th, we got Art of Rally on PS4 and PS5. Never heard of it. October 7th, Far Cry 6 came out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. October 8th, we got Metroid Dread on Switch, which I've been hearing nothing but stellar things about. October 8th, we also got Tetris Effect Connected on Switch. October 12th, which is technically today, Back 4 Blood's finally out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. And then also we got Disco Elysium coming out today, October 12th, on Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Switch. October 14th, we got Jackbox Party Pack 8.
Oh, man.
What? PS4, a little revealing. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. So pretty much everything. And then we got on October 15th, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. October 15th as well. We got Crisis Remastered Trilogy. Completely forgot that was coming out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. October 15th. The last October 15th game we got. NHL 22 on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series, Xbox Series, all the series. And then October 22 we get a little bit of a break. Then on 22nd we got the Dark Pictures anthology House of Ashes finally coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Then on October 26th we got Solar Ash coming out on PS4, PS5, PC. October 26th we got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, that's already coming out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Switch, and PC. That's coming out on Switch.
Guess so.
That's interesting. I'm just fucking. It's been a couple weeks. I'm finding things out. October 28th, we got Age of Empires 4 on PC. Also on the 28th, we got Riders Republic coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One Series, Xbox Series, and PC. And then finally, we finish it off with October 29th, Mario Party Superstars coming out on Switch. Chevy, what games calling to you and what's not so much?
This was more of just kind of like you had kind of brought up that it's being talked highly of, but you brought up Metroid Dread. I'm not a Metroid fan, but I have heard nothing but great things. I've also heard the difficulty curve is actually pretty high on that one. So
People are loving it.
yeah, I've seen nothing but good things on it for
Yeah.
sure. So if you're a Metroid fan, yeah,
This one's for you.
it's probably a good one to pick up. You're probably already playing it.
Yeah.
I am interested in Back for Blood, but I am not in a rush for it. We'll see if enough people are playing it. I'll probably be pretty tempted, but
I already know 5 people who are going to be playing it.
I just really have things I want to play. So
Fucking tell me about it.
a Jackbox. I mean, we love that around here. So
In fact, I think in celebration of us being back and healthy, we should do some kind of community stream with Jackbox Party Pack 8 soon.
sure,
That'd be cool.
yeah, I'm down. As much as I love Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer, whichever phrasing you prefer, anime games usually don't do it for me. So, based off animes.
Is that the name in Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay, because when I read it, I saw you nod. I'm like, do you know what that is? But it
Yeah,
makes
well,
sense.
I was like, you were kind of like being like, breaking it down as you're speaking.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
was
just
sounding it out.
just kind of nodding along with you. So, let's see. Scroll down for me, please. Age of Empires 4, I am very curious about, but I need to hear what people say. I'm not going to blindly buy that game.
Yeah, I mean, just jumping into that one, my hype for an Age of Empires 4 is there, but did they nail it? Hopefully, it's looking like Age of Empires. So.
Sure. Yeah. I just, I don't know. I can't, especially on something that's been gone for so long. It makes me a little nervous.
Dude. Yeah, always MechWarrior 5 when that was being made. I was like, what? It's all right. It's pretty cool.
And then, yeah, Mario Party Superstars, I am definitely curious about, but I barely played the last Mario Party, but that's also not a good like single player game, and I don't really know too many people who play that game. So
Really?
yeah,
I feel like everybody plays Mario Party.
not in our gaming circle apparently.
True, because we don't really play it. So, anything else?
Oh, that's it for me.
I'm going to pick up Alan Wake Remastered at some point because I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. I love the original. I don't even think it needed a remaster, but I'd like to experience it like that. I've seen a lot of people kind of urging people who haven't played Alan Wake that they don't necessarily need to pick up the remaster because I guess it's not that crazy different. So, figure that out on your own. But as a person who has beaten Alan Wake multiple times, I want to see what they did with the remaster. I think it's cool they did that. It's a great game. I couldn't recommend it enough. I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm curious about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl because it's essentially Smash Bros.
I've heard a couple people talk about it.
But it's getting like decent reviews. which is cool to see because I feel like that's a genre that Smash Bros created pretty much, but also has like a lock on, and some other people try to dabble in it. Nobody can
I think
really.
Sony tried at one point too.
Yeah, they had PlayStation All Stars,
Yeah, yeah.
which was all right, but it wasn't Smash Bros. So anyway, that's interesting. I'm not going to buy it, but I'm curious about it. I'm also curious about Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, but I don't have the fucking time in my life to be playing Super Monkey Ball, so I'm not going to do that. But if somebody really, really, really sold me on it, I mean, it's on Switch. I need more Switch games. Jet the Far Shore. I need to watch reviews on that. I haven't heard anything about it since it released. It was a game I was super hyped on, and then my hype just fucking deflated as I saw more and more and more on the game, which is really weird. Typically, it's not. It doesn't go that direction. I already picked up Far Cry 6. I will be talking about it soon. Metroid Dread, congratulations to everybody who's a Metroid fan. You got a new Metroid game, and I hear great things about it. I'm not the biggest Metroid fan. Don't kill me. Back for Blood, already bought it. I played the beta, have not played the game yet, though. I will be playing it ASAP, maybe right after we're done filming. So that's already been picked up. Quick recommendation, check out Disco Elysium. It's a very interesting game and very well made. So if you're curious about that game, just buy it. Jackbox Party Pack 8 is, if there's one game on this list that has to be bought, it's that game. So I'm gonna be buying that ASAP.
As is tradition.
Yeah, I own them all. I own them all twice. I got them on my PlayStation and my PC now.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure if I ever want to play it with friends, it's where I need it.
Right.
So, Crisis Remastered Trilogy, I'd like to see reviews on that. I love the original Crisis. Crisis 2 is okay. I didn't really play 3 that much. But getting a whole trilogy of them is pretty cool sounding. And if it's at a fair price, I think it'd be neat to own them all. I was talking about this earlier today with somebody. We were talking about how Konami is like dabbling and possibly doing Castlevania, Metal Gear Solid, oh god, Silent Hill stuff, which does not excite me at all. People are like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Dude, no. They're not, they haven't proven shit yet." But if they didn't touch them, if they released a Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Peace Walker collection, or 2 collections that had all those games, I would buy them. Just putting that out there. Where's that at? Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes, I feel obligated to buy, which is weird because none of these games are like great, but they're really like campy horror adventures that are at the, even when they're like cheesy, they're fun to make fun of.
Right.
So,
Right.
I kind of like playing through them, even if they're shit. Man of Medan literally melted my brain, but I don't regret it. I'll never do it again, though. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm curious about as well. That's a game that I went from I don't want to play it to, it looks all right. Age of Empires Forum on the exact same page as you. Uh, if it gets good reviews and people are really fucking digging it and they're saying this is great and I see gameplay and it looks really good, I feel like I have to buy it because I love Age of Empires. It's one of my favorite RTSs of all time. Res Republic, I played the beta and it felt like a more casual and simplified Steep. Like they're trying to get more people to play it, which makes sense.
For sure.
It was kind of fun. I feel like I'd want to play with friends, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it. If I know people who are willing to buy it and play it with me, I might pick it up. But that's gonna be a social game. I'm not buying that to just crack out on. And then Mario Party, you can buy and I can play it
Well, if I buy.
if you buy,
Yeah.
because I like Mario Party. Although Nintendo games piss me off because
Random
it's
is
just the
involved.
randomness. The randomness drives me insane because I'm like, oh, I'm fucking winning because I did this, and the game Nintendo's like, no, you're not winning now because let's let this person win. And I'm like, okay, oh my god, fuck. Even fucking Mario Kart, I'm like, oh, I'm racing so good.
Though I do know some people who know how to handle. I not know personally. I've seen people who can handle those RNG elements. Stupid
Oh,
well.
I'm sure those people who are like super high skilled, but
Yeah.
like I just remember one time we had like 9 or 10 people over one time, and like I was just on my shit. But every once in a while, everyone was fucking launch everything at me, and I'm like, oh my god, I hate
Yeah.
this. I hate it.
Chaos incarnate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it. So anyway, I'm pretty much buying every game coming out this month, which sucks because between you and me and everyone else watching, I'm gonna focus on Far Cry 6. and Back for Blood. Everything else is secondary. Though we haven't planned it yet. I would like to do a community stream with Jackbox.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun. We haven't done that in a little bit, and it's brand new, and I'm not going to play it by myself. So, um, yeah. Other than that, nothing else to really report here. So let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about the games coming out in October? Have you already picked up some games? Are you planning on picking up anything? Is there anything you would recommend us play? Is there anything you'd recommend us not play? Maybe you played Metroid Dread and you're the one person on the planet's like, this game's not fucking good. Stop praising it. Let me know in the comments. Have you played Alan Wake Remastered? Let me know if I should pick that up. And has anybody in this community played Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl? I'd be curious to know about that as well. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Okay, so we're going to talk about what we've been playing. We got a lot of games that we've been playing. Is your list big? I cut a lot of the fat of things that I would just be relaying that I played, but not really worth discussing. And it's still pretty big.
Honestly, there's only two games I probably have a lot to say on, and the same ones you played. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of easy ones.
I'm gonna jump in first then. So the games I can't talk about for channel reasons, but the games I've played, I have already played Mortal Kombat X quite a bit. That one's really easy to hop into. I've barely played Hell Let Loose, but I played it a little bit. So we will talk about that at the end of the month for Plus Club. And also I've played PGA Tour 2K21 a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean I played the tutorial so far.
So I have an idea. I think while we're planning gaming nights, I think we should plan a golf night and just have a few beers or something.
Sure, yeah. I mean, golf would be real chill. We already have a couple people in the community who are just sitting around playing it already.
They can
So
play too.
yeah. I wonder how many people can play. But I figure we should plan a night where we play golf, but also because I've already played Hell Let Loose on PC, we should probably play it together as well.
Yeah, I don't even know what the game is. So
World War II, but like Battlefield, but more hardcore.
I remember you talking about.
You can
the
die
game.
in like one
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
And has a really, really cool I don't want to talk about it too much. Has a really cool communication system.
Gotcha.
It has like a cool hierarchy of who can talk to who, and it incentivizes commanders and stuff to talk to their squads and coordinate.
And people to pretend they're in the military.
Some people are really good at it.
Sure.
There's just these guys
those
just
kind of
going
games,
like, Oscar Mike, blah, 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 going to sector, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to go northwest.
that's like taking me back 20 years.
I'm gonna flank from the east, and I'm gonna fucking take this shit. Yeah, so those games I can't talk about. One game that I'm trying to coordinate this because there's a couple games we both played together. I finally beat Outriders. I sat down, played it. Me and Sarah played through it. We had already been playing quite a bit, and we're like, why haven't we beaten this fucking game? So one night we're like, we're gonna sit down and beat this. It's only gonna be like 4 hours, right? Like we're almost done with it. We played for like fucking 14 hours. Like it's a big game. There's a lot to that fucking game. We beat it. I was very satisfied with the game, which is very cool. For anybody who doesn't know, I was like, this is generic bullshit. I'm never like, who the fuck's gonna play this game before the game came out? And then I watched like one trailer right before the game came out. I'm like, that looks kind of interesting. And then I've beaten it, and it's a cool game. It's definitely worth the money. There's a lot of content, a lot of things to unlock. A lot of skills, a lot of weapons to unlock, legendary stuff like that. But after beating the game, which I'm not going to talk about the story or anything like that, I thought it was cool. I think it's got a really interesting story. Although the end is interesting. That game goes all over the fucking place with the story. It's got an end game after you beat the game. Oh my god, the fucking last boss was so annoying. I forgot all about how fucking annoying that boss is. It's got an end game though. Once you beat the game, you get some legendaries, which is always welcome for beating the game. But then you get put into this hub, and it's got these like trial missions that you just go in and you get currency from,
Okay.
and you can buy items with normal currency, but then with the special currency, you can buy like this like crazy gear and shit. And you do these trials. You run through and you just get put in situations where you got to fight through a bunch of people, but there's You get rewards for beating that, but there's also like a bronze, silver, and gold time limit, and if you beat them within those, you get more rewards.
Okay.
So
Time trials then.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's more robust than it sounds. It sounds almost like an add-on, like a quick little like fucking they kind of threw it on there. But it seems like a pretty robust end game. So there is a reason to keep playing the game. I haven't dabbled in it too much, but it is pretty cool. And yeah, anybody who didn't play Outriders and might be interested in playing it still, maybe you're waiting for a deal, which I'm sure there's been one by now. I would definitely recommend it, especially playing with a friend. I don't think I'd want to play it by myself. It is a little Gears of Warsy though, in the sense of like bullet sponges. You're unloading on some people for a while, but it incentivizes you to use your abilities in ways that you can melt people faster. So working together and making those builds where you can get your crit increased or fire damage or whatever is really important. You can't just shoot your way through this game and expect enemies to die quickly. So
I kind of got that feeling playing the demo. So
yeah, yeah. But I don't know. It's really interesting my journey with that game because I beat him. Like, that was a good game. That was fun. I liked it. So, yeah. I that's something we played. That's also something we played. I played the Battlefield 2042 beta. I pre-ordered it for early access. I only played it once, but I played it for many hours, and I don't know if I'd say I'm mixed on it. I actually liked what they're selling, but it's not ready. So I'm sure a lot of you guys played it, so you already got your opinions on it. But my opinion on it is this feels like they're course correcting from Battlefield 5, and they know the popularity of Battlefield 3 and 4. Almost anybody who's a Battlefield fan all agree 4 is good, right? Some people like Battlefield 1, some people don't like it. I loved Battlefield 1, and I think it's way better than 5. But 4 seems to be the one that everyone's kind of lands on going like, yeah, that was sick. It was a good Battlefield. So this feels like Battlefield 4 2.0 futuristic. It has a visual style that's similar to 4. The gameplay is similar to 4. I saw a lot of people complaining that there's a lot of things in 4 that you can't do in this. Hopefully, it's something to add later because there's really good points that I'm not going to go through. But even like dialing in your scope and shit, it's not a thing anymore.
gotcha.
But what I like about it, the graphics are fantastic. I like the kind of futuristic theme to the game. It feels modern, but also there's robot dogs with machine guns that are way fucking cooler than I thought they're going to be. So I'm really digging the aesthetic. The map they had was Orbital. That's the name of it. It's this giant fucking map with a big ass rocket that's gonna launch. You can blow it up when it takes off.
Or write it in the atmosphere.
You can ride it with your grappling hook. I also like the way they handled the grappling hook. I was a little worried about that because I was like, I don't want Battlefield to turn into fucking something like Titanfall or fucking Apex. I don't know. I'm bringing up respawn games, but like just these
Because they do
hyperactive.
mobility.
Yeah, exactly. They do mobility fucking fantastic, but it's got like a cooldown, which makes it feel a little. The pacing of it feels less like your Spider-Man and more like I need to get on that roof. I'm on the roof. I can't use it yet. But I'm up here. It's more of a tool, which is kind of cool. I'm all over the fucking place. So they have, I believe they call this Conquest, like Conquest before in Battlefield, but now they have sectors on the map because the map's so fucking big. There's 128 people. I played on PC. 128 people on the map. The map's bigger than ever. So they have the map cut up into sectors, and there are multiple points to take in some of the sectors, which I think is actually kind of cool. So there's one sector, it'll be like B. There's just, the one thing you gotta take, or A or whatever. But then you go to C, and there's C1 and C2. And unless you have both C points, you don't own that sector. So you'll have like one side, C1 will be one color, and C2 will be another color, and everybody's spawning into those. And there's just a little war happening in that sector. And it feels crazier. It feels more chaotic in that sense. Like I can be over in C and just spend most of the match over there.
Yeah.
If it's really an aggressive match. So I like that. I think it's neat. It kind of organizes the battle. or I hope will organize the battle. Every time Battlefield comes out, people aren't playing their classes to how they should be, and people aren't playing the objectives. They're just running around looking at all the crazy shit and shooting at each other. So I hope as the game comes out and kind of exists, people will fall more into their roles. Although it is nice to see people already kind of like, flying ospreys or, any kind of vehicle in the air and picking people up and fucking taking them and dropping them off, because that's something I miss from the older Battlefields. You didn't have that in Battlefield 1 and 5 because it's World War II. You didn't have the same amount of
There were
vehicles.
just less tools available.
Exactly. So this is starting to feel more like, military operations. It feels more like Battlefield. So it's very cool. And the map is cool. Some of it I don't like, but the map's so big that there's other sections I do like. So there's just areas I kind of avoid. There's this giant skyscraper, and to take the point in that sector, you have to go on top of the skyscraper. You don't take it from down below, so you have to get up there, whether it's through a vehicle or taking the elevator, running the fucking stairs and shit, and that's really chaotic. And yeah, overall, I'm really digging it. The specialists, I don't remember what they call them, but there's like four or five of them. I don't remember exactly. They all have an ability, but then at that point you can really customize your builds more than ever now. You can use a med kit with an assault guy and be using an LMG or a sniper rifle with, this kind of grenade that you couldn't do before. And I kind of don't like it, but kind of like it. So it's weird. I'm like, that's different and weird. I kind of like a more focused class,
Right.
but I also like the freedom of doing what the fuck I want.
I say
So
between that and you saying like some of the more like sim aspects of the game, it seems like they're trying to make it accessible to as many people as possible. Is what it sounds like.
yeah.
So, and by removing the class system, people can just do whatever they want. So,
Well, that's the biggest thing about this game. It just screams it to me when I'm playing it. Is this is them fucking trying to pretend five didn't happen, the PR with five didn't happen, and they're like it. I see a lot of people saying that like this game feels too safe. Sometimes you got to do that.
yeah, I mean, I could understand that as a point of commentary, but not as a negative. I think it's okay for people to be safe for once in a while, especially if they're recovering from something. I mean,
One
Square did it.
hundred percent, yeah.
Everything Square made for a little while there was very safe and fan servicey, and now they're kind of like stretching out again. So,
Yeah, they're letting people make weird Final Fantasy Origins, fucking Stranger in Paradise,
16's
Neo
not
games.
like any like it's a little weird for them too. So
Yeah,
it's hyper violent and
and it's like medieval fantasy,
yeah, it's like pure
which they haven't
fantasy.
done in a
Yeah.
grip. So they're feeling a little free to do that. So yeah, there needs to be a period where if you fuck up, it's about making a product people are going to be happy with, even if it's not like the most revolutionary thing. So I can appreciate what they're doing with 2042. Yeah, so and way more vehicles than ever before, which I typically would hate because I hate a map that's full of vehicles. It drives me nuts. But now, dude, fucking Battlefield 5 has a map that's just a ring of points to take, and the map is fucking a field full of tanks. And so like you're just getting blown up unless you're in a tank taking fucking points. It's an awful design. Um,
So the map will be dead in a week. That's what you're saying.
well, what do you mean?
It because if it's that obnoxious, people will stop playing it. So
Well, you would think that, but in 5 people are playing that fucking map, and there's people who like only vehicles though in Battlefield. So if you're
sure.
playing that map and you're a vehicle guy, you're in heaven. Especially getting all those fucking free kills of people running around on the map. But yeah, more vehicles, but it's not that big a deal because you got helicopters, you got jets, you got tanks. There's a lot more going on than just the planes in the air shooting the people on the ground, like in the World War II battlefields. And it's not just planes and fucking tanks. There's a lot more going on, but there's also more tools that you're more they're more readily available to any class. So I can literally switch over to a rocket launcher with the same build I'm already playing if shit's getting bad, I can just blow something up. One critique already though is missiles feel or anti-air missiles and even like ground missiles don't feel powerful enough. You hit them and you take like a fucking fifth of their health.
Oh, weird.
Fifth or fourth. It's really weird. And I don't want it to be too strong, so I don't want just random people on the ground to be able to blow up a tank in fucking two shots. But I feel like they should buff it just a little bit because it does, especially when you're tracking, you're fucking locking onto something in the air and you shoot at it and they use their fucking chafe, their flares, the fucking chaff, yeah. They're chafing. They use their chaff, the flares or whatever, to make sure the missile doesn't hit them. But when you finally get that hit, it's just like tink and like barely takes their health, and you're like, oh my fucking god.
The balance could also be there though, because like you could have 64. I theoretically have 64 people shooting at you. So
True, but that's not gonna happen. But it is true. There was multiple times where I was in a tank with my squad mates, and we're just getting hit from every direction. We had a guy just repairing the fucking tank the whole time. But it was so we survived for a while, but it was kind of scary that just like every once in a while we're like ting 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 ting. There's people out
big
in
target.
bushes and yeah, exactly. And we're out in the middle of this. I mean, right in front of the rockets. We're out in the open. I was getting annoyed with the driver because I'm like, what are we doing out here? Like, I'm glad we're all alive, but what are we fucking trying to achieve by just driving around out here? I mean, we're getting kills, but
Distracting
battlefield.
people.
Yeah. So, complaints on the beta, and before I go into this, I hear, I don't know if it's real, I don't know if they're just saying this,
Big
I don't know
fat
if it's just
rumor.
a rumor, whatever, but I hear the build we played on the beta is a 3 to 4 month old build of the game. If that is true, cool. If it's not, not good. Because this beta was riddled with fucking bugs. A lot of things were network issues. A lot of things were maybe network issues. I don't know. A lot of things I ran into is bullets sometimes feeling like they're not connecting. That was probably the most annoying thing.
Yeah, that would be fucking annoying.
I would see regularly enemies in the distance, and it wasn't a draw distance issue. I had the shit maxed out. I can handle it. Blah blah blah. But I'd see just dudes running the field and then just go and disappear, and I have to wonder, was that a real person that I saw run by, or was that a person and do they exist still? Like, where'd they go? Why'd they disappear? Was that some guy from earlier that I'm seeing? Is it like lag? I don't know how to interpret it. What the fuck? Where that guy just disappeared to? He didn't fade out. He didn't go like he's just running and he's. And I saw vehicles do that every once in a while. That was really weird. A lot of the flying would do this weird thing, specifically jets, where they would be flying like they typically do, but then they would lock in a position in the air, and then they would be moving, but they'd be locked in that
The
position.
animation would go away.
The animation would just pause, but they're still moving in the air, and then sometimes they would disappear in the fucking air. Helicopters would fly by. They'd be kind of cruising, fucking going sideways and shit, and then they'd lock, and then they'd just be stuck in a position while flying around. That was really weird to see. Um, and yeah, a couple things just kind of felt off in the combat, but not in a way that they can't fix. It doesn't feel like the game's broken and they just didn't make it right. It feels like they need to fine tune things and specifically work on the networking, which I'm hoping this beta was meant for that. I'm hoping this beta was them testing servers, testing how the network works, testing how when you shoot a bullet, the server has to connect that bullet with what it hits and give that data to the person who got hit, blah, 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 blah. So hopefully that's what they were trying to achieve with this beta because I like what they got going on, but it was fucking buggy. And I see that from a lot of people. A lot of people are saying that. So it wasn't just a me thing. And yeah, otherwise it's really cool. I'm very excited for it to come out. I want to play the other maps. I sadly got kind of bored of Orbital pretty quickly because it's a big, sprawling, grassy, hilly field essentially with a skyscraper, a big rocket, and some buildings over at sea. Other than that, it's a lot of fucking fields to run through. But it was cool. One last thing. The guns all felt pretty good. But they do have a new system where you press, I believe it's T on PC, and you pull your gun up and you're able to switch your attachments at any time, which I think is really cool. I like that system. And then if you accrue enough points, you press B and you're able to essentially summon vehicles, which is interesting because in prior battlefields you had to go back to HQ and wait for them to spawn,
Right.
and
And
somebody
hope
else
you get
would
it.
snatch one, or you'd get in, someone start getting pissed and shooting rockets at
Or
you.
spawn in it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can appreciate that because it's starting at a point where it feels like reinforcements have to take a little bit to drive to the battle. But in this, you can just, if you have enough points, you can drop a tank in. You can drop the robot dog pretty quickly. Robot dog's actually really cool because it just runs with you, and it's very active on shooting enemies. Like as soon as it sees one, it'll like run ahead of you and start unloading at them and shit. So it's not like waiting for you to get shot first before it starts like defending you. It's actively trying to kill people. So that's pretty cool. It's also kind of scary. A couple times I'd be taking a point. I'm like laying in the grass, and my robot dog's just shooting at people and shit, and rockets would be flying in, just hitting him, and he's just shooting. And I'd like pop up to find the guys with the rocket launchers, and I'd like drop them. But yeah. Anyway, long story short, I like what they're doing with the game. They got a lot of work to make the game, in my opinion, something people aren't going to complain about. If this were to release like this now, there'd be a lot of angry people. So hopefully this is an old build. Hopefully that month delay they have going on right now is to address a lot of this stuff and make the game just, fucking make it work, make it tight, make it release, and everyone's happy. Hopefully they can achieve that in that extra month they're taking. And I mean, in the long run, I think they'll have it. But every Battlefield has released most Battlefields have released and had issues. I still remember when Battlefield 3 came out, they're using fucking web browsers to go to lobbies, and sometimes like
There was a plug-in.
yeah, as a plugin, and like a lot of times, fucking for some reason, Rob could never connect to our games, and it was like really fucking annoying.
I think I had a similar issue as the antivirus preventing it from working.
Oh yeah. There was all sorts of weird shit that would interact with it. So, and then 4 had a bunch of problems when it came out too. So, let's hope they can bring with this because Dice needs to reinvigorate the Battlefield community. I think they can do it with this game if they can launch it in a way that's acceptable to everybody. Okay, so I also played Far Cry 6. I'm currently playing Far Cry 6. I have a strategy in my head. I'm allowing myself one long-term game, which is a game that's, going to take me like 20 hours at the least to beat. And that's Far Cry 6. And then I'm going to allow myself to play some like games I can just kind of hop in and hop out of, and that's going to be Back for Blood. So wish me luck on that. But I'm playing Far Cry 6 right now. I've probably put about, at the very least, 15 hours into it at this point, I think. Probably more, but I did sit down and play it quite a bit. And like Battlefield, I'm mixed on Far Cry 6. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a big Far Cry fan. I'm one of the weird guys and think Far Cry 5 is the best Far Cry. I know a lot of people love 3. I love 3 as well. 4, I liked 4. But I think 5 is the best for sure. And I still think that playing Far Cry 6. Let me preface though, I am enjoying Far Cry 6. I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it a lot. But they've made some changes and they're not to my they're not what I would prefer. So they've changed the way progression works in Far Cry 6. You don't level up the same. You don't level up at all. It's less RPG feeling in that sense, which I don't play Far Cry to be an RPG, but it's all gear based. So you get a chest piece, pants, boots, and something on your wrist or gloves, and then a helmet. And they'll all have things like increase stamina regeneration, increase run speed, increase run speed after a slide, be less noticeable, all that kind of stuff. And then you have a thing on your back called a Supremo, which is essentially your ultimate weapon that
Okay.
has a cooldown. They range from like a missile launcher on your back to an EMP to a thing that you can jump up and shoot fire out and it burns everyone around you. Those, and I learned this later than I care to admit, those are where like your main progression's at. So you go into your Supremo and like in there you unlock throwing knives, different types of grenades.
Excuse me.
There's a huge list on one of the sections of pretty much most of the perks in the game. You can only pick one per slot, but you can increase your run speed with those. That's where you're really starting to make kind of your build. Everything else kind of accents your Supremo, which is really interesting. This is a fun system, and I do like the idea of getting loot in this. It's not randomized loot like you would get in like a looter shooter.
Okay.
It's like set guns. If they're uniques, they are set. But if they're like the normal gun, you can like put attachments on it and put like fire damage on them and shit. It's weird. So it is kind of fun to like find these weapons in boxes on the map because that is random, but they are set weapons, so it's not a looter shooter, which is great because New Dawn tried that. So yeah, that's cool, but I still think I prefer the Far Cry 4 and 5 system of buying your weapons and leveling up and picking your skills and shit. Story is okay. I'm not going to get into it at all because I mean you guys should just play it or watch a YouTube video on it. Um, I'm I haven't beaten the game, so maybe it gets better, but it just feels like Just Cause to me. You
Okay.
have a dictator who's very cliche. I mean, he does what dictators do and everything. He's a son. He's trying to train to be like him. His son's reluctant because he's young and has morals. You're playing as revolutionaries, trying to stop him from creating his true Yara. And it's serviceable, but like I don't really care about any of the characters, and I don't think the villain is particularly interesting. Although the guy playing him does a great job, I don't think the villain is interesting enough for his acting ability. He's not given much with it,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
it's not bad. It's just not. After playing fucking Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 5, it's it feels like Far Cry 4. I'm like, yeah, Pegamin's all right. He's an asshole, but that's it. And this, I'm like, yeah, he's just a fucking dictator. He's the same guy I'd be killing if I was playing Rico and Just Cause. And this game does involve a lot of like blowing up the yellow things, same as Just
Oh,
Cause, blow
okay.
up the red things. Like it's a lot of that. So it does kind of feel like a first person Just Cause, more so than prior Far Cry's. And then another thing, and it might sound like I'm being negative about this game. I am enjoying the game. I'm enjoying it. So if you're like, hey, stop talking shit about it, whatever, blah blah blah. I think it's a lot of fun. But something I have to talk about, and I'm told this is only on PC, but I have a hard time believing that. This is the buggiest fucking Far Cry I've ever played. And let me just go through some of the bugs I've encountered. Twice I've been on a horse. The first time I got launched like 1,000 feet in the air. I was up in the clouds and I slowly floated down. The second time I got launched on my horse, I went about 50 feet in the air and then I free fell onto the ground and died instantly. I had a helicopter crash and I was hanging out next to the fiery crash and then I ran off and then Sarah ran up to it and it exploded randomly, just killed her. She's had multiple times where she can't get out of a vehicle. She's just stuck in there. There's one time that we had parked a helicopter on the ground. I was running, and then the helicopter did this. It flew over and landed on me and killed me instantly. And then here's the weird thing: she gets me back up. We abandoned that helicopter, and we go find another helicopter. And I watched it. It bounced, and the back end smashed and killed her. I have no idea why they're bouncing. They just went and just killed her. And I got her back up. So that was
Maximum, maximum overdrive.
yeah, it's fucking weird. She fell through the map at one point. So this game has a thing where you can join somebody's game. They're the host, but you get to keep your progression. You just don't get to keep the mission progression.
Five was the same, I thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
sure. I'm just letting people know that's how it works. You get to keep everything. You just don't get to make decisions in their camp because you can upgrade certain parts of the
yeah.
camp, and you get to keep everything. But if you beat these missions with them, you got to go do it again on yours, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. But it has a system where you can't go too far from the host. You can go pretty far, but you can't go too far. It'll teleport you back to the host. So anyway, that being said, I'm like in like the beginning of the game when this happened, and Sarah like slowly falls through the fucking floor and she falls through the map, which happens in games, whatever, everyone's seen it. But then she fucking just teleports to like a city and she's like, and I'm like, what? She's like, where am I? And I fucking open up the map and she's fucking up north at the very last place where the end boss is at. The where because this game has regions with leaders you got to kill.
Right.
She's in the last region, and she just teleported there. She's just hanging out. I was like jokingly like, "Oh, go kill the tyrant guy. Like if you're there, might as well." So not only did she slide through the map and teleport across the fucking map, she also broke the game's rule of you can't go too far from the host. Really bizarre shit. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of fucking random ass bugs in the game, and they happen so frequently to both of us. It's not like Cyberpunk on release bad, but it's like multiple times while playing this game, I'm like, this fucking game, dude. Like, what the hell? Why is there so many weird bugs? I don't know if this is a bug, but the game also just spawns enemies. Like before in Far Cry, like you could get into a situation where you run into some guys, you kill them, and then someone drives by and they see you and they start shooting at you, and then a convoy comes by and starts shooting at you, and you feel like it's endless. So you just have to run away. We were like out hunting some animal. I think it was a type of duck, and we were just on a hill. And I walked down the right side of the hill. All of a sudden, to the left, there's just red. And I went back up to the hill, and there's enemies there. So I killed them, scared off the ducks, which sucked. And then I went back down to hunt to find those ducks, and it turned red there again. I went up to the hill. It's the same guys who just respawn there. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to hunt here if you keep respawning? So we killed
Right.
them, and then they showed up again.
Huh.
And I was like, dude, no, don't do that. Like, let me at least feel like I fucking got rid of the enemies in this area. So that's annoying. Um, any other major bugs? There's more, but I can't remember them. Um, But yeah, so the last one, last bug I ran into. There's a mission where you meet a girl for the first time. I'm gonna be very. Her name's Espada. I'll keep it there. You meet her for the first time, and when you're escaping a building, she is like, "Let's get on these horses." And I'm like, "Okay." So me and Sarah get on our horses, and she gets on her horse, and she's like, "Let's go." And she's just kind of like walking on the horse, and she stops, and she stopped right in front of me. I hit her, and we both fly off our horses. And fucking after that, she wouldn't get back on her horse. She just was standing there. And I would like shoot her, I'd revive her, all this shit. She would never get on the horse. So I ended up riding out of bounds to make the mission restart. It did it. She finally got on her horse again, but she wouldn't ride fast. She was just kind of riding slow. So to get back to camp took like fucking 20 minutes in real time. And that was on Sarah's when she was hosting. I played by myself. She got on the horse like normal, and she fucking rode that bitch fast to camp. So that was supposed to happen. The same fucking character in a mission I'm not going to say anything about outside of you're running through a town while everybody's shooting at each other and shit. You're supposed to follow her. She would like stop and just hang out at the door. And she's like, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. What are you doing? And then she'd run outside and she's just looking in every direction. I'm shooting people, and she runs down a fucking alleyway, which is the obvious way you're supposed to go. You can just tell by the level design. She stops down the alleyway. She's standing there. I'm shooting all the enemies and shit. She runs back at me, past me, leaves the alleyway, runs out in the street, gets in a car, a two-seater. There's three of us. She gets in a two-seater. I follow her. I'm like, are we getting in a car? Where are we going? And she's in the car. She's like, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, where the fuck are we going? And then she gets out of the car, she runs back to the alley we were at, and then she progresses down the alley like she should have went. It made no fucking sense. The AI was just like, it's her only, it's only her. Her AI is just like randomly in mission. She's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So that kind of sucks. Outside of that, outside of all my complaints just now, it's a gorgeous fucking game. It looks great. The aesthetic is really cool. There's a lot of water, a lot of tropical looking islands. I really enjoyed the treasure hunting. They made it really interesting. Each treasure has a really cool environmental puzzle to solve. One I fucking hated, not because it was a bad design, but it's all underwater shit. So I was like half drowning constantly, just swimming through this underwater cave. There's one that was like a lot of like using your grappling hook to swing around and get to different points. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying the exploration. I'm enjoying, even though I don't prefer it to the last game, I am enjoying finding random boxes, opening them, and getting either weapons or ways to upgrade weapons. It's kind of a cool mid ground between a looter shooter and not being a looter shooter because it's all set weapons. The gun combat's great. It's Far Cry. The TTK is a little fucking high. It feels kind of like New Dawn. There are times where I'll shoot a dude in the head like 4 times, and I'm like, I fucking hate this. And then sometimes they die in one shot. And there's perks to increase shit like that, but it just feels a little too RPG like and less Far Cry like. But the weapon variety is awesome. The attachments are awesome. The stealth's still there, which I appreciate. I have a build right now where my guy already moves faster. If I run and slide, my guy moves fast after that. And while crouched, he moves fast. So I will run, slide, and crouch, and I'm like moving at run speed, like while crouched. So I'm able to take people out. I really enjoy doing that. I'm currently using a bow and arrow, of course, a silenced pistol, of course, a silenced sniper rifle, and a Go Loud. I think I'm using the AKM. So I got a fully automatic rifle, but I don't have a silencer on it. I have something that stabilizes recoil because that's my if shit goes bad, pull that out, start dropping people as quick as I can gun. Driving's good. Mission variety is probably the best Far Cry's had so far, so that's also cool. The map's fucking huge and very varied, which is cool. And I really enjoy going around doing all the side quests and finding all the nooks and crannies of the island. So really enjoying that, and the co-op's fun outside of all the weird bugs we've encountered. So overall, really enjoying Far Cry 6. I would recommend it, but I hope they fucking patch some of these bugs because they are. I've never correlated bugs in Far Cry, and now I have to with 6. So
Yeah, I wonder how much that has to do with the last couple years.
yeah, I don't know. That could be a factor, but yeah, I mean, it's disappointing to see all the bugs, but the game's fun enough that it's easy for me to look past them. I just go, God damn it! Like as soon as something happens.
Right.
Yeah, Sarah was telling me today she was getting locked in her car, she couldn't get out, and then she was randomly exploding sometimes. I'm like, there's no, that makes no sense. But that's the game, I guess. Hopefully they fix it. All right, so that's enough about Far Cry 6. I am liking it. I would recommend it. But I like 5 more so far. We both played Final Fantasy Origins, Origin Stranger in Paradise. That was called
The other way around, but yeah.
Stranger in Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Fucking that name.
Just call it Stranger in Paradise.
Yeah, and we have a trailer.
Paradise.
Stranger of Paradise. We have a trailer we're going to be watching of that was shown at TGS that we were sick, so we didn't cover TGS. We apologize for that. There's a video from TGS you'd like us to react to. Let us know because we were not.
In the loop at the time.
Those 2 weeks I don't know what the fuck happened. So yeah, they had a demo, timed demo. It's over now as of the 11th. I just checked. The game let me watch a cinematic and then run forward, and it's like this demo's fucking done.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
the
thought.
second mission.
Yeah, no, I agree. I tried to play it for a split second. We both played this. I'm glad we did when we did because the fucking it's over, and I was actually surprised by this. We'd played the prior beta or demo.
You did.
I did. You didn't.
I did.
Okay, interesting. And honestly, it felt like a fucking half-baked Final Fantasy skinned lesser Neo. And even at that point, I was like, I could probably play this. Like, I might pick it up, but like, I'm not super fucking pumped about it. Biggest problem with it was the AI of your two companions is fucking awful. Fix it now.
So for any of you who aren't in the loop on this, at the end of that original demo, they did a survey, and with the top three things mentioned, the very top one was the AI. So
Do you remember the other two?
graphic fidelity actually was one of the three because it is a
Interesting.
PS5 game. So people were like, "Bump up the graphics, please."
Yeah, it looks like a PS4, PS5 game.
I don't remember the third one at all.
Interesting.
After playing this, I have my own. I wish I would have done the survey, but it's a little late now. So.
Yeah. Oh, I would have fucking said the AI. I think it's the worst thing in the game.
Well, and it's improved since last time, so
Yeah.
they're still working on it, obviously.
They just don't feel like they're helping.
Yeah, they have made comments on some of the concerns people have, and they said they're aware they are working on it. It just wasn't available in the build we played. So,
Yeah.
like loot, there's a lot of loot, and nothing to do with it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. We'll get to that in a sec. So I played originally though, and I was like, this game's kind of meh. But my big thing is like it's made by the same people who made Neo. It's Team Ninja,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in my brain, I was like, this is not their A game. This is their B game. Whatever their next big game is, this isn't it. This is just something they're working on the side. It has to be because it doesn't feel like it's got the same attention as like Neo or Neo 2 had, right? Like those are like AAA fucking really well made games. Um, but we played just to check it out because you're like, oh, it's got multiplayer, and I was like, well, that fucking changes a lot for me.
Yeah,
And we both hopped in. It has an ID system because some Japanese developers really like fucking you typing in numbers and letters to play with each other. Nintendo. So weird.
yeah,
We figured it out. We
yes.
were able to connect. We did run into a couple times where you got
Network connectivity like would be spotty, and I'd get disconnected.
yeah,
So
that was a thing that happened a couple times, but it didn't really bother us too much.
no, I mean it's kind of just an inconvenience because you have to get your MP back. So
For sure. Yeah, that's an interesting system too. I kind of like it. Even though it's annoying when you lose it. Um, And yeah, it's if you don't know what the game's like, it's a game where you lock onto people, you're able to block, dodge, and attack. It is set up like a Souls-like game, kind of. It is kind of like Neo. There is no souls to be lost and gained back, but it does have a combat system that's similar, but also more hyper. It does feel like an RPG more than it does feel like a Soulsborne style game, which I like honestly because it feels fresh. It doesn't feel like just a clone. And that was something that I got to learn when we played the second time. When I played the
yeah,
second time.
I just think it's funny that Team Ninja has made two games in this genre pretty much, and they both are very different.
Yeah, I always argue like if you think everyone's copying Dark Souls in the genre, Neo is the only one that stands on its own as like its own original game in my opinion. It obviously is influenced in some ways, but it
Obviously,
is 100% in a lot of ways a Team Ninja game. The games they've been making since Ninja Gaiden. So, I try to give it as much credit as possible as a game that is inspired by Dark Souls, but not it is not a clone. So anyway, we both played outside of you disconnecting. It seemed to run just fine.
yeah,
We both played on PS5. You're on PS5.
it's the only place demo was available.
Oh yeah. I forgot it's just a PS5 game. And the one thing I missed somehow the first time I played it is there's jobs in the game. I had no fucking idea somehow. I thought they amounted. I thought they amounted to like you switch your weapon and it's like, oh, you're this now, but not in the sense of like you progress through that job to unlock other jobs. I had no idea that was a thing. So instantly, I was kind of like drawn to playing the pugilist, which is interesting because it moves towards monk, which is what I prefer in Final Fantasy 14.
At least when you played,
Yeah, yeah.
it's changed since then.
Monk has
yeah,
like a lot.
pretty significant. Yeah,
I'll go check it out. But but yeah, I was playing pugilist, and because I liked the punching.
Mm.
I also was like, oh, Lance looks cool, so I started using that. What's the base class?
Lancer.
Lancer, which was perfect because to unlock Monk, you have to play Lancer and Pugilist
Mm.
and get them both to a certain point in their progression
The monk spot, yeah.
to unlock Monk. So I was like, without even knowing that at first, was already doing that.
Yeah.
So that's
Convenient.
super fucking convenient. And then the Monk is essentially pretty much a pugilist, but more expanded, has more buffs available. Has a lot of speed buffs where I was fucking flying and hitting, going crazy.
It's kind of wild watching you fight because, like, I'm
Oh, I
sitting there,
loved
like,
it.
charging something,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
Well, then like chakra, you could sit there and just charge up, and I got
Mhm.
a fourth charge, so I'd sit there and just like kind of build up like I'm fucking Goku, and then after that, I'd fly in and start swinging and shit.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's like a really fucking cool system. I really like outside of the characters and music and some of the theme shit with the story. I think Team Ninja's got a really good mix of what they've been doing recently, but also honoring Final Fantasy.
It straight up feels like Team Ninja's Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. Outside of the main character, I think being named Jack and having a shaved head.
I mean, yeah, whoever the director of the game is, that's their
Yeah.
choices, but or writer or whatever.
And them all fucking fist pumping
But I
constantly.
mean, even like visually, the game like looks like a Team Ninja game.
Yeah.
And even their take on the job system, though very respecting Square's job system,
Yeah.
is totally not what I was expecting either. Because like I played casters, but you're still a melee class.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Well, they still got to maintain that core gameplay that they've built.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. So like no matter what you play, you're still hitting things. Like,
Yeah.
so
But you were casting like crazy big spells though, which is neat to see. That's not something you see
yeah.
in like Neo or Dark Souls.
No, it was really
You were like
neat.
casting a bunch of fucking meteors.
That took my MP after I cast somebody
Yeah, it
out.
was a big move. It seemed to
It was
fucking
like
kill
holy
everything.
when I had that with White Mage. It
Yeah.
was just a beam of light and everything died. But
So, what did you play and what did you build towards to play as a subclass?
when I played by myself, before we did the co-op, I played the swordsman because that's what you start as.
Okay.
And generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of that in most games. So because it is kind of the go-to, it's really safe.
Yeah, I thought it was boring.
I'm sure it expands because as I
Mhm.
even learned playing the casters, like once you get towards the bottom of the tree, you get some like really cool toys. So
Yeah.
I did the game kind of like gets to a point where it hands you a caster weapon because it's trying to teach you about magic. There's flames you have to put out, and so you have to like cast water on the flames. And so when I did that, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of curious on their take on magic. So I ended up just kind of falling into it, and it ended up being really fun because, like I said, you still have to like your shield and a club, so you're still fighting. But then you have this like emphasis on like melee attacks, and then also if you have time charging up spells, and it's not quick. Like
Hmm.
there's 3 points because it has that Final Fantasy system where it's like fire, Fira, Faraga,
Hmm.
and so you have to the longer you charge it, the more powerful the bigger the spell gets, including like Cure, as we learned. The only one that you didn't have to be on top of me for was a full charge. Otherwise, you'd
Hmm.
be on me to get that
Yeah, and
cure.
it's interesting in a game like this that you're able to fucking heal.
Well, and support spells. Like it has a
Yeah.
full support system. Like
Well, yeah, I had, I mean, not support, but I had like buffs
there's still support skills. Yeah.
that I would expect from like a full-fledged RPG or
Mhm.
MMO. I was building up my chakra. I was building up. I had two other buffs, and they took a lot of MP. But when I had them all buffed up,
You had like 3 to 4 self buffs.
yeah, I like did significant more damage. I fucking was way faster in my combos and shit. And but there's a cost of the amount of MP I fucking spent to
Hmm.
do it, which I thought was a really fucking cool system.
For sure. Yeah, no, I wish I would have had a little more time to play with the other jobs in the game.
Hmm.
But the game comes out in March, so
Which is pretty far out.
it is. But I guess Team Ninjas did this with Neo 2 as well. They had a pretty long beta feedback cycle.
They
So
did, yeah.
so I'm really excited that obviously that worked out really well for Neo 2.
Yeah.
That's really good news in this game too, because
I still remember the time
it
betas for Neo.
yeah, see, I didn't play any of
They
those.
had time demos the same as this, so
Yeah, so obviously that system works for them, and
mhm.
they do take the feedback into consideration and they respond to it. So it's really good to hear.
Yeah.
AAA developers are really good about ignoring people most of the time, so
Yeah.
I'm glad that they listen. But yeah, I leaned originally towards once I learned it had co-op. I was like, oh, I'll just level white mage then, because then I'll have a support job, which we did initially when we played together. I did start with that, but then we got to the boss. I realized I didn't have time to cure because it was either try to get in and hit to try to get aggro, which
Mhm.
big spoiler, casters have to be pretty much point blank to hit anything. So it's hard to kind of catch up and get a hit in. Or he was super aggressive, so he'd be on me and we didn't know like the tricks yet.
Mhm.
So I was like, I don't think I cast or healer might be a little too advanced for my skill level at this point in the
Yeah.
game. So I switched to black mage, and we started like it took us a couple tries, but we started making that progress. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, this is clicking better. So I had a lot of fun with it, and especially because the game does have, though basic, and it was only one boss fight. Obviously, it's the first boss of the game. I
It still
think
had
it
mechanics.
had mechanics. Like
Yeah.
he would light a sword on fire, and if you cast water and it hit the sword, it put the fires out, and all his fire moves went away. And vice versa, if he had ice and he cast fire, it'd melt the ice off, and he'd have to go back to his basic moves, which made a huge difference because he goes crazy when he had the
Oh
elemental
yeah.
stuff on.
Yeah.
So
No, it for at least our progression into the game and our knowledge of the game, playing a fucking demo of a game where we're not playing for hours,
yeah,
it felt crucial to be able to cancel his moves,
yeah,
which is cool. You could fucking do it in the first place because my guy wasn't built for that.
for sure, for
So
sure.
you were able to do that, and the when we finally, I actually liked that he was beating us because it showed a challenge. We had to learn, we had to fight, and
And I think we're playing on
figure out.
normal.
We were playing normal,
There's a
yeah.
harder difficulty, so
Yeah, there's like a story mode, like a fucking normal mode and a hard mode or something like
yeah,
that.
I think because it is a story-based Final Fantasy one, they wanted that
Yeah,
accessible
which
mode.
I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
fucking play on. I want some challenge, but I'm not ready to play the hardest difficulty, especially just on a demo. But what was I saying? It was just cool to go and grind and start working on strategy for this boss battle. My only complaint about it is the AI, the aggro, is based off who hit him.
Yeah.
So I'd be like wailing on him, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you now," and I'm like, "Okay," and I run away. He's constantly attacking. He has these moves where he flies across the map, so other people are trying to hit him, but they can't because he's fucking
It's
constantly up my
actually
ass.
worse to be away from him because he just
Yeah, yeah,
lunge,
yeah.
lunge,
Yeah.
lunge,
And I learned
lunge.
that because like on the last time we fought him, you were canceling his moves, which was fucking huge. But I had my chakra and all my buffs built up, and I had my speed, so I was just like fucking laying into him, and he would swing, and I would dodge back, and I dodge back and start fucking hitting him, and it's really weird. It didn't feel like I was playing a Dark Souls Neo style game.
Not at that pace,
I felt like
especially.
I
I'm
was
sure.
playing an RPG and almost an MMO in
Yeah.
the way that we are
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
strategizing combat. It was really fucking weird.
It is weird. It's very much an action game though. So
Yeah. Yeah, but in moments, like it feels like, oh, get over here so I can buff you and heal you and shit. That's not fucking Dark Souls.
right, right,
That's not Neo. That's not it has its own flavor. And even for all of its faults, which I think it does have some,
for sure.
I really like the concept. I think it's a cool idea. It's a cool mix of games I already like and other games I like mixed. Like it's weird that Team Ninja, someone who already has made, you already kind of said this, but someone who's already made a game like this is making another one that's not like the other one. It
Yeah.
just
No.
shows that Team Ninja like fucking has ideas. Which I mean they always have. They've always been really good at the games that they make. So but but yeah, the aggro system is basic and not too awesome.
Yeah.
The graphics could be better, but I enjoyed the game so much that I didn't care.
Yeah, that's never like a huge priority for me. I
Me
get what
neither.
people are saying
Yeah,
because I know there's like people are starving right now. There's a level of understanding I
for
think people
next
need to
gen.
have
Yeah.
there, but I get it. But the game, yeah, I'm
Honestly,
gonna
though,
take smooth gameplay over graphics any day though.
I mean, I always do. I always do the 60 frames per second or higher modes before I do like graphical
For
fidelity. I
sure.
always check them out because I want to see how good the game can look, and it's always amazing. But I want gameplay to be smooth. That was one thing I was gonna say is there's so many fucking effects happening and animations that I think are pretty
I don't
decent,
think there were any frame drops.
and the game's smooth as shit.
Yeah,
So that's probably the balance there. And trying to keep, you can potentially have three people playing,
I would
doing
love
a.
to see it, how that
I
plays.
want to play. I don't want to play with the AI at all. I don't want to play that game with AI. I only want to play like a game multiplayer because it was so much fucking better. Even if the AI was okay, it was so much better strategizing with somebody. But yeah, it's Final Fantasy, so everything's fucking flashy. Everything's making a bunch of crazy
Mhm.
effects. People can drop like fucking 5 meters out of the sky, shoot lightning. My guy's swinging and doing all these like jump kicks and uppercuts, and there's fucking of course effects flying out. So the graphics are probably balanced to make sure that there is no frame drops because Team Ninja makes smooth ass combat
Oh
games.
yeah,
I mean DOA,
Eh,
fucking
mm,
Ninja
yeah,
Gaiden,
everything.
Neo, they're all very smooth
Mm.
experiences. And then yeah, items are to be addressed, but that was it's only a demo, but it was really fucking annoying.
So much
The
gear.
amount of loot we are getting, and I'm just like, I have all these items and duplicates, and I can't do anything with them.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping in the full game there is some kind of break them down system or some kind of
salvage or
sell it.
selling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's a much better way to put it. Um, but yeah, outside of that, like it's so weird. The first time I played it, I was like pretty unimpressed with it. And then I played it this last time, and I want the game to be out. Like
It,
I want to play it.
I remember you talking about your first experience with it, and it was so interesting to me because like a YouTube guy I trust a lot played it, and he loved it, but he said it needs work.
Yeah.
And then the second demo came out, and he's like, they listened to feedback, and
Mhm.
they've added more jobs for people to play with. And he said they gave the list, and I even looked up the
The
list. And
first one
half the
didn't,
jobs aren't even in it. That
which is cool to hear. But even in the first demo, there wasn't that many jobs,
yeah.
and so I barely dabbled with the fucking jobs.
Well, Monk was only in demo two, so
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
there in the first one. So like, I found something that I clicked with. I started kind of learning the systems and started. I fucking love that as a job system in
Also
it.
has cross class skills, so if you like certain moves
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
transfer between jobs.
Yeah, I was unlocking shit with my pugilist, and then once I went over to my lancer, which is completely different, way slower, but does a lot more damage, a lot of knockback shit. I still had some of my pugilist moves, so
Mm,
there is an incentive to
level
fucking
everything.
level
Yeah.
everything to make your ultimate build,
Yeah.
and then get those advanced classes. I don't know. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy thing. It's nothing new over there, but for this kind of gameplay, I fucking love it.
I think it needs a little refinement, obviously, but like
Yeah.
I think Team Ninja is making another good game. Like I wanted to keep playing it, so
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I was actually kind of bummed that the demo was over when I went to go play it because I was like, fuck, now I gotta wait for the next demo or the game to come out.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but when it comes to like stuff they need to smooth out in the game,
Pretty minimal, I think.
it's less than Battlefield 2042. It's less than Far Cry 6 in my
Yeah, I
experience.
mean the only bug we ran into, and I don't even think it was a bug. It was just network connectivity stuff,
That
which is
was
typical of
something
games.
needs to get fixed. I hope that's not in the game when it comes out.
Yeah, we did one map. I got disconnected probably like 5 times.
And
So
then yeah, just like basic improvements and something to do with the items. The items that if that's not a thing they have something for in the game.
yeah, they already talked about
They
that.
already said
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm just saying if they didn't, that would be fucking so annoying.
yeah. I just hope there's a large amount of levels, and I hope it has like post game stuff because I think it's definitely a game that'd be really easy to keep playing. And if they even decide to do like they did with Neo 2 and have those DLCs with those extra bosses and stuff, I mean, I could definitely see myself getting into it. So,
Yeah.
I think the heavy lean into RPG makes it very appealing for a much broader audience. So
You're way more enthusiastic about this game than I've seen you with any game
it was fun. I
that
had a lot of fun with it.
shares parts of this genre.
So
So
yeah,
that was really
I
interesting.
like Neo 2 as well, but I have to play that with someone. I could play Strangers by myself.
Yeah, because even though the boss is definitely challenging, definitely challenging.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes it felt like the aggro was pissing me off. But outside of that, I had fun fighting, you know, a challenging boss. It does feel outside of that less intense. It feels more like an RPG. It feels like you're going from room to room, looking for chests, fighting the enemies in the room, figuring out some things with like, the why I can't remember their name, the bomb guys.
Bombs.
Bombs. That they shoot fire, and the game has this interesting
We're
system
pretty
where you can
familiar.
counter and steal their ability, and you can shoot it back, shoot fire at people and shit if you catch it. Or someone swings at you, you can fucking hit it and like
Goblins would
stuns
throw
them.
rocks. You could steal that ability.
Yeah, it's got some really interesting systems. But combat's interesting, but it's still you're figuring it out as you're playing against them, and it feels more RPG like,
Oh, and the environments do stuff too. Like the bombs can catch grass on fire, and
which
you
is
don't want to
annoying.
stand in
Which is
that.
fucking
Yeah.
annoying. Yeah.
The spawners that also turn into bridges after you break them and stuff.
Yeah.
So
The game also has a really interesting combo system that you get to customize. You unlock moves, and then you can decide if it's just like one press of R2 that executes it, or if you press R1 to swing once, and then you hit R2, you get a whole new move. And if you hit R2, R2, and then R1, R1, R2, you get another move. So you can start really like, especially with the fucking pugilist or monk, really get crazy on those combos and start like flying all over the place and shit. So
yeah, if you're familiar with Dynasty Warriors' philosophy of combat, it would be pretty similar.
more advanced, but yeah.
Just the button press thing, where it's like
Yeah.
one heavy, light heavy, light light heavy, light 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 heavy. So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
There's something else I was going to talk about with the game. I don't remember.
Outside of and hopefully it's just because it's the demo. The instance with my character, when you put on armor, your appearance does change too, which is nice touch. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so I was hosting the game. My character was constantly changing the way he looked, and the weapons all looked different. And the other AI character I was able to have input on in his build or in his gear, he was also changing. You were playing my other AI character. Your progression from your game does come over into my game, which is good. And everything that you do in my game, you get to keep. But you're still playing one of my AI characters. And for some reason, the gear you were wearing did not show except for the weapons.
Default look, yeah.
Yeah, your guy was just walking around like an A shirt the whole time, but you had like
You guys were
weapons.
advancing and looking cooler and cooler. And I'm just like ready to go to the gym.
So if they're gonna force you to play these AI characters but still keep your progress, I hope they will at least let that AI character wear the gear you're wearing. Because my AI character is wearing the gear I'm making him wear. So why the fuck? I hope they fix that.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably something they were like, well, that could be addressed later.
Yeah.
It's probably in the plan, and if not,
Or maybe the
it
build
is
we
a minor
played, it
thing.
wasn't there.
But the flavor is nice to be able to like,
I'm just at the very least happy that you get to keep your progress
oh,
from your
that
game.
was huge. As
Yeah.
soon as I saw that, I was like, thank you.
Yeah, you had all your classes, progression, your
Yeah.
gear and stuff. You're just playing one of my guys and not able to change the way you looked, which
Yeah.
is a bummer. But it's not. It's I would much prefer that than a situation where you were just playing the AI in general, not keeping your game's progression. So
Yeah. Really, one of the things I really like can even bring up to anyone who hasn't played it before. The game's moves are all based off a energy system or MP or whatever, and you earn MP from doing finishers. So when you wear down someone's stamina, regardless of how much health they have, if you can get their stamina down, you can get an insta kill proc.
yeah,
There's a couple times that I watched you go in because we are grinding skeletons for a while, and you got a good hit in. They lost maybe a fourth their health, but their stamina was gone, you insta
It
killed them.
happened all the time.
I was just like, okay, apparently they don't need to be beat up that much if you can just get their stamina down. So
Yeah, I would just fly in and do a bunch of fucking combos and shit, and their stamina just fly down, and I just finish them. And they had like almost full health, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
that finisher replenishes MP, but also if you're not capped out at 6 MP, bars of MP, it starts building those bars as well.
This is interesting. You start the game and you have 2 bars of MP. You can have up to 6, and the moves you use those bars of MP, and you regenerate those as you kill and finish off people or counter their abilities, or counter their moves. You get some of that back, and then when you finish them, you get some of that back. But like I said, you start with 2, and as you kill enemies and you start getting, I forgot what they call it in the game, but that red shit that gives you MP, it starts building the next third MP bar until it fills a full one, and now you have 3 MP bars, and then you have 4, and then you have 5, and you have 6. When you die, you lose your MP, and you have
Back
to
to
start
2.
again and have
Yeah.
to grind out and get your MP back. Also, like, Souls games and, well, Soul style games, you start with like 3 potions or something like that, and as you kill people, they'll drop
Yeah,
potions.
we had 9.
You can have up to 9. You get capped there. And as you drink them, you have to get more. So before the boss, we were making sure we had 9 apiece.
They're
And
also your resurrection item for your teammates.
they
So,
are, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, you have like 3 Phoenix Downs, and those are
For the
shared
group.
between
Yeah.
all 3 of you.
Those are self use.
Yeah.
So if I can't
So,
get over to him to pick him up, or vice versa,
or you
and
don't have the
use
resources to
your,
get me up.
yeah, or you're out of potions, you can use that Phoenix down. You hit the button, and you'll just get up where you're standing. So
Yeah. Which I think is a cool system. I also like that the game, you're just playing co-op. There's no, after the boss, you disappear.
yeah,
It's just no
Neo 2 did the
bullshit.
same thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's super super
Well, it makes
appreciated.
it feel more like a fucking RPG and
Such a
less.
bad system that's in so many versions of this genre.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some games, the allure of it's mostly a single player game, but you can bring people in, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh shit. That made sense for a while in certain games, specifically all the From Software games.
for
But
sure.
other games copying the system, like, just give me fucking co-op, dude. I just want to play with a friend, or don't offer it at all. Like, I don't want to do the system. So yeah, this game you just play together, which is fucking nice. Oh yeah, a couple things I want to bring up though. A couple criticisms that don't affect my opinion of the game at all because I'm sold on the game at this point. If it's not clear, I'm like pretty hyped to play it. Characters are fucking generic as shit looking, all 3 of them.
Yeah, it's funny because the question mark character, I won't go to get into, looks like a Final Fantasy character, but
Yeah,
the main 3 right off the bat don't.
yeah, they're the most generic looking people ever, and I was so happy that my gear mattered and visually
Yeah, yeah.
because my guy eventually had a hood over his fucking head, and I have to look at a shaved head. Because they're like, "Hey, Jack." I'm like, "His name's fucking Jack." And then they're like, the guy's just got like a fucking shaved head, looks like average as shit. I'm like, put a hood on, dude. I don't want to fucking see you.
Also, the DMC moment.
Yeah, and then so on top of the generic characters, and in English, I played in English, you play in Japanese. The voice acting, I hesitate to say is bad. It's fucking dorky. Everyone talks like this. Hey, Jack. Blah blah blah
It,
blah blah blah.
it's pretty good in Japanese.
It sounds so nerdy, and then they're all like bros and shit, which is really weird. Like they literally do like fist bumps, like they do like in 2 different missions. In the first mission at the beginning of the second mission, I played for a split second before the demo. I was like, wait, you can't play this right now. In the very beginning, they all put their fists in and they all fucking fist bump together, all 4 of them. And I'm like, dude, what is that? And then fuck at the end of the first mission, they all fist bump each other. I'm like, this is fucking dorky. And then at one point, the guy's like, I gotta go out here, and he like pulls his phone out and starts playing this fucking dorky ass cock
It
rock
was so
song.
cheesy.
And he
Yeah.
just walks out. The song plays for like 15 seconds. It's not even like a fucking montage, but you can tell in the 15 seconds of the song playing, he would have not traveled that far. But he walks out there and just turns it off. And then he starts talking. I'm like, what the fuck was that? He should have like literally he should have had a hat, put it on backwards, got on a skateboard, played the music, and ate a piece of pizza while fucking riding out of there. And did a kickflip.
Yeah,
I
as
mean,
soon as I
like,
saw
that would have been just as dorky.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's some DMC cheese right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I can overlook it because I really, really dig the gameplay. Like that's the most important thing.
Well, and if they're gonna do
And
that, hopefully it's consistent throughout the game at that point too, because
yeah,
then at least they're just embracing that.
yeah.
So
I fucking story could be cool though. I don't know. There's no way to know.
yeah, I mean, I watched the cutscenes just for the first mission, obviously, and I mean, it seemed interesting. It's not like super compelling by any means, but
Hmm.
like it's serviceable for sure. I didn't hate it, so
Yeah.
it does borrow, and I have to emphasize that because there's still this misconception that it's a remake of Final Fantasy One. It
Yeah, it's
borrows
inspired by it, but it's not.
themes and characters from one.
They already clarified that as soon as they released the trailer to it.
People don't listen.
They literally were like, "This isn't Final Fantasy one.
Yeah, it
This
just
isn't."
borrows motifs. That's the
Yeah,
word I wanted.
yeah.
So
It's inspired by it
it's an
for
original
sure.
story.
But yeah, it's its own thing. There's no fist bumping in the original Final Fantasy,
Definitely not.
or cock rock.
There are four warriors light though.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Imagine
it's
that.
it's inspired by it. We should probably wrap this up
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
got another big game to talk about.
yeah.
So overall, though, my opinion on this, it pulled in Outriders, and it has changed completely. I am excited to play this game. I will be picking it up day one. I don't have interest really in playing it by myself, so I definitely want to do the co-op, and it'd be cool to do 3 player. But if you're curious about it and you get a chance to play one of these time demos, I'm sure they're going to do another one. Definitely check it out. Look past the okay graphics. It just kind of feels like a Souls-like game, and get into the job system. Try and play with a friend. I think you might dig it
For sure.
if you're into these kind of games, and you're probably sold on as well. I'm probably picking it
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah. I also noticed because most of these game things have the social systems in them.
Hmm.
It looks like Chris already pre-ordered it, so
Did he play it?
he probably played the first demo, and I
Mm.
know he's a Neo fan, so he probably was just like, "Oh, Team Ninja's making it."
I mean, it's a good mix of Neo and Final Fantasy. So
Yeah.
really interesting. Anything else to say on that?
No, I had a lot of fun, and I'm definitely sold. So
Yeah, I didn't want the demo to be a demo. I was hoping I was playing the game because I started really enjoying it, which is really fucking weird. Because I was like, yeah, I'll try the multiplayer. And I was like, wait, this has like a whole job system and shit. I'm fucking really digging this. All right, so we both also played another game. Then you can get into the games you've been playing. This is gonna be a 3-hour taste cast. Maybe we can speed it up. I don't know. We both played New World, brand new MMO in 2021. A lot of commotion about this game. A lot of positive and negative. I'm hearing about it. We should probably talk about our impressions of New World, where we stand with it, and talk about what it presents as a new MMO. Is it bringing it in modern times? Is it too late? What are we doing in the game? And yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people are either don't know anything about it really, wondering if they should pick it up. Maybe they need to know about the server shit going on in it. Or maybe some of you guys are already playing it and you have your own opinions on it. But
yeah.
yeah.
The too late thing, when you said that, I instantly kind of like was like, "Ugh, I hate that phrase." It's never too late. Look at No Man's Sky. You can always make something work again if you care enough.
Yeah. Though when battle royales come out now, if you're not bringing something new, you do feel like you're a couple years late to the party. But I do agree. If you bring a good product, it's never too late.
I think a game with progression and stuff like that is harder to die off.
Yeah.
The problem with competitive games is that's the game, so
Mhm.
it has to work immediately, pretty much. So anyway, so general impressions. I've played two of the betas for this game prior and enjoyed it enough. I did lose a graphics card during the second beta.
You're one of those lucky people.
Yeah, for
The only game I've been playing games for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. The only game I know that has damaged hardware that I know of.
yeah.
It's fucking crazy. That blew my mind. I was
Just
like, it's fucking killing GPUs.
Yeah, one that beta was really bad because it was a huge variety and it wasn't just Nvidia and anyways.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
For the sake of this conversation, I have an EVGA FTW3 3080.
Primo.
So that being said, the game came out and I'm not going to speak for you on obviously your opinion of the game, but I know we're in the same mentality. The only MMOs that exist right now are 10-year-old plus
Legacy
MMOs,
MMOs.
and I think if anything, this year has shown there is a absolute market. I would even argue hunger for an MMO to come out.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think we saw that New World came out, servers were instantly full, and they went into panic mode, fixing or alleviating that. It's still not even fixed. Servers are full still,
Yeah.
and they're working on a transfer system right now. So I don't want to go into that too much because honestly, that was like a 1 to 2 day hiccup. The problem's
It
pretty much
was fun.
solved, and the playing with your friends thing is right around the corner. Not really a big deal.
Though I'm hearing some weird things about that. Some people are saying they outright lied about certain things about server transfer.
Well, and if they do something shady, then we can judge them on it when that
Yeah.
comes. But I haven't heard anything at
I don't
all.
remember the
So
details, but
I do know the only thing I heard was the system they had been working on they weren't happy with. So we'll see. They're new to this, so and part of me wonders how many games some of those people have ever worked on because the like with the beta the GPU thing that's pretty unheard of, I'd say.
real quick, it's not really. I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging or something, but it's funny because this game came out and I saw so many people in the games industry going like, "There's no way anyone knew this game was gonna be this successful. No one knew it'd be this
Yeah.
popular." And every time I saw it, I'm like, "Me, I did. I knew this was gonna be popular. Are you fucking crazy?
Are you not
It's
watching
the
what's happening in MMOs right
it's
now?
the
Yeah.
only new MMO. It's the only fucking big budget new MMO. What are you talking about? Like fucking at the very least, people are curious and they're gonna want
Yeah,
to play it. And a lot of them will probably return to the fucking games they've invested fucking their life in.
for sure.
And where their friends are at. But people are gonna go, wait, there's a new AAA MMO? What's that like?
Well, and I
Like
think
of course it was gonna be fucking popular.
well, in the elephant in the room, one game is bleeding subscribers
Yep.
because of the actions that they're at their own fault in.
Yeah.
And the alternatives are either not the same type of MMO or they are a Japanese version of that style of MMO, and not everyone wants to play a Japanese game. So you're going to have this huge contingent of people looking for a Western style MMO,
Yep.
and so they made one. And I think even now, I haven't checked recently, but it was number 2 on Steam for at least a week. So like,
Yeah,
and
somebody on like the fourth day was like, "Oh, it's already hemorrhaging players. It's dying." And someone came up and like, "It's number 2 on Steam today. What are you
the
talking?
only thing
What are you
beating is
talking about?"
CS:GO. So
Yeah, like it's not fucking dying. I mean, it might later, but like people are just like so quick to be like, "Oh, it's fucking people. People are sick of it.
that's
They
a
hate
bad
it."
trend
And everything,
in
sure, but
gaming.
it was just funny to see someone with fucking just blunt facts going like, "It's number 2 on
Yeah.
Steam."
And this game is 100% going to do the same thing Path of Exile does in their support system, I'm sure. They're
Oh,
going to
sure.
expect people to go. They're going to bring out content, bring them back. Go. It's
Mm,
going to do this. And that's online games in general. So,
yeah.
anyways, back to my thoughts on it. Game released, picked it up, started playing it, got past the point that I had done twice already. And it was pretty much what I expected, to be honest. If you played the beta, you got a pretty good feel of the game, minus some things that unlock. I'd say at 25 is probably the spot where you're going to start getting a lot more of the features in the game.
Mm.
And yeah, this is really tricky because it's not going to be for everyone. I think is kind of
That's what I've been telling everybody.
the big one. The game's beautiful. It's a very good looking game. Part of the reason it melted GPUs.
It's actually optimized really well though.
Plays great.
I
Yeah.
know I know some people who are on like lower end PCs who are playing it just fine, and on my second computer, which is not as good as my first computer, um, I can play it on medium and it runs completely smooth. So that's cool. And it still looks good.
Yeah. I think the only things that are going to be kind of difficult about it is they are going for an action based combat system. Is tricky with ping. So dodging can be a little weird sometimes, but it's not horrible. They definitely couldn't do like a super precise system. There would be too much server latency, I think.
I think it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, 100%. I'm not trying to shit on it. I
Yeah.
just, you're not going to ever get the type of, like Dark Souls works because it's running off your hard drive. Like,
Yeah,
you're never going to
for
get that
sure.
kind of
Just
brute
like I was talking
force.
about
Yeah.
Battlefield, like people don't understand like how much goes into the networking of every bullet.
Yeah. And when you're doing, especially in this game where there is large scale PvP, I imagine server information load would probably make overly precise combat really difficult. So it has a very simple combat system, which I don't think is a bad thing for the way the gameplay loop goes, but it might be a turnoff for some people. It does have good passive abilities, which I do think kind of expand upon your three abilities pretty
Mm.
well. I'm playing a tank, which is kind of a weird choice for me anyways in games, but it's not tap target MMO, so it's a little less intimidating for me, which is kind of weird.
Mm.
But my job, I had the three moves right off the bat, and they were okay, but those moves became more exciting with the passives I started attaching to them. And so I was able to actually start thinking out timings of my moves a little better. So there is some depth there. Um, it is a very good, this is going to be a common one. It's a very good starting point
Yeah.
for their skill tree system. And hopefully they do expand upon it and make
Oh,
it more
yeah, I hope they
complicated.
definitely do.
Yeah.
The tricky thing about that though is this is a PvP centric game. It was originally built for that alone,
Yes.
and then they added the PvE later. So every weapon is built from the ground up to be balanced for PvP combat
Mm-hmm.
and to have specific moves you're gonna expect from those weapons in PvP combat,
Yeah.
and then the PvE is second to that.
Well, that also plays into the only having three buttons thing because even like this is gonna be a weird example. Final Fantasy 14, the PvP buttons are actually completely different from PvE because from the development team's mouth, they want you. It's you're so focused on fighting people, you're not thinking about your rotation's never gonna be perfect. You're
Yeah.
because your two fights are scripted in PvE, people aren't. So
Mm.
like combos get very like an Ion where it's like you push one button and the combo just goes. PvP in 14's that way, so you can focus on PvP. And I
Yeah.
feel like part of the thought process in combat was also keep the move simple so they could focus on the PvP.
I'm surprised I didn't catch on with more MMOs, but by the time that game was out, MMOs were already kind of fucking petering off.
Or the one button thing.
Yeah, because you could do a rotation like a normal MMO, but if you, it's almost like a combo system.
We'll
If
have
you would,
procs up pop, yeah.
yeah, it would pop up and give you an option from one button to select your next move after that, and I thought it was fucking genius
Yeah, I think Blades
because
sold the same thing.
because it was condensing, more traditional MMO where you had fucking 50 moves that you had to just memorize into six buttons.
I think that is
But now every
well,
game just
yeah,
has
that was
fucking,
PvP based, so that kind of
yeah,
makes sense.
exactly.
I think that's really where it comes down to because even like this is a small tangent, I suppose, but in 14, the philosophy with the PvE is that's part of the perfecting playing is like
Mm,
memorizing your buttons and not screwing them up because if you screw them up, it screws up your damage for the rest of the fight, and the fight could be 10 minutes long. So,
yeah.
anyway, so go back to New World. One of my favorite things about the game is it has the old school Elder Scroll system of everything you do levels up.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, I like that too. It's also a classless system,
Hmm.
which can be hit or miss, and I think they have a pretty good hit here because you can literally just, similar to Final Fantasy, pick something up, equip it, use it. Now you're that.
Yeah.
And one character. You don't have to make alts. So I'm always a fan of that. It makes it easier to invest time into that character. And then if you feel experimental, you don't have to start at the beginning. I don't have to go on the stupid beach again. Like
Yeah.
I can just do it. So super appreciate that. It has a ton of crafts and gathers, which also do that.
The game's really freeform.
Yeah.
to possibly its own detriment for certain people.
100%.
I was gonna kind of go through for anybody who's curious about this game or hasn't played it yet, or maybe thinking about like what what we think of core gameplay loop. It's interesting because the game was originally made for PvP.
Mm-hmm.
That was the core idea, and some people even say it was supposed to be like a PvP survival game, which is interesting. You can kind of see it in the
There's some
crafting and gathering.
philosophies there, yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting because when I was fucking playing it, I kept mentioning that the gathering felt like a survival game to me.
Yeah.
So when people say that, I'm like, that makes sense. And then eventually they realized that they need to put PvE in the game because a lot of people are more PvE centric
The
MMO
majority.
players. Yeah, exactly. And it's a huge grouping of people who would not be playing the game because if it's only PvP, they're not going to want to touch it. So smart move, but they did make it secondary, and it does show in some ways.
You can also tell they did it later in development.
Exactly. And it's something that they can improve on too for anyone who does have problems with the gameplay loop of PvE. And yeah, the game is essentially, when it comes to PvP, there are regions on a map, and each region has cities and areas that you can go to war with the one of three factions to take over. Once those people take over those areas, you can change like taxes and all sorts of things that can benefit you, make you money, blah blah blah. But the game is designed for those regions to be taken by other people later. So the map is constantly in flux and changing. You got yellow, purple, and green in different regions. We had a whole area that was yellow for a while, and it completely mostly got taken, and I almost didn't recognize the map anymore because
Yeah.
before I was traveling in that yellow area, and then I was like, wait, where the fuck am I? So it's a very PvP centric game. It changes the dynamic of the game because of the PvP. But then they added the PvE, and that consists a lot of main storyline quests. They're story based, side quests, and then there is a lot of faction missions that give you currency and leveling in that faction to upgrade your standing in that faction and be able to buy faction based equipment. And then there is a town board. They're able to do stuff for experience and money, basic things like gathering or hunting, stuff like that,
Or exploring.
or exploring. A lot of the missions consist of go find this thing, go talk to this guy, go kill these things. So it's pretty traditional in that sense.
Yeah, it's fetch quests. You're doing fetch quests.
Fetch quests. Outside of the main story quests, which are more story centric. But a lot of these things are things you opt into. A lot of these quests outside the side quests and the main story quests are repeatable quests, random quests that you can keep repeating over and over and over again. And I think this is something that's going to lose some people who need maybe a little more structure in their MMO. Luckily, the game's got a cool combat system. I like it. It's going to be hit or miss for certain people.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I'm gonna make a big claim. It's got the best gathering I've ever experienced in an MMO. So gathering quests are satisfying, especially in a game where you need to be level 50 to chop down this tree. So you chop down littler trees until you hit level 50, and suddenly you're cutting down bigger trees. And so if you like that feeling of progress and deforesting areas and getting a reward for that and being able to craft from that, it's very satisfying. It's very Zen-like. It's very survival game-like Ark or Conan, which is very interesting. Considering in a lot of games, there's just like a node in the middle of a desert and you fucking chip off that, or there's a tree and you interact with that. But in this, it's got dense forests full of foliage and trees and all the shit. And you can gather from any of these points pretty much, and they disappear, which is impressive to see in an MMO with a bunch of people on it. It's a lot.
It's a really neat aesthetic thing they've done
aesthetic,
there. Yeah.
and then to see your progression moving up every time you fucking interact with anything. You kill animals, and then you can go over and skin them and shit for the resources, and that levels up too. I'm a big survival game junkie, and this shit fucking just scratches that itch for me, which is really cool for a actual MMO. This isn't a FOMO; it's an actual MMO, so it's kind of cool.
And this game's definitely designed to as I'm stealing someone else's wording here. Scratch monkey brain number go up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if you're over here playing Cookie Clicker, you're probably gonna like this game because
Yeah,
it's just like constantly going like, hey, you're leveling up. Everything you're doing,
your
you're
rep
leveling
went
up.
up, your
Yeah,
faction went up. This goes like everything goes up, 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 up.
yeah,
Number, number, number. That being said, I do think it's important to address the pacing of the game
yeah,
is old school.
yeah.
You're
The
not gonna
game and its
fly through the
the
game.
game and its mechanics are modern, but the philosophy of the gameplay is very old school,
Yeah,
like before WoW old school in MMOs.
there are metas,
Yeah.
and if you're impatient, you can look these things up, and you can speed up the process. And I'm sure you can do speed runs of things.
Oh, dude, town boards are like fucking really good XP.
Yeah, but if you're just like the type of person who just wants to like hop on after work, play a game for a little bit, it's not like your World of Warcraft, your Final Fantasies, whatever, where you're like gonna get a few levels in a night super fast. You got to work for them in this game. So
Yeah, and it feels like you earned it, which I appreciate. That's something people don't really do much anymore. I think it kind of speeds you to the end game. Um, Also, the idea of like like coming in, like and hopping on after work or whatever, kind of reminds me that this is a $40 game and there's no monthly fee, which is definitely a
that's
plus for the
actually a
game.
big thing to mention because a lot of people keep talking about the game in comparison to the two big ones right now,
Mm,
which are subscription games. This is not
yeah.
a subscription game. This is more along the lines of ESO and Guild Wars.
Yep.
You buy the game, you get access. So
And even ESO really, as a person who's played quite a bit of ESO at this point, you can play it for free, but it's way better if you pay that monthly ESO plus. It does enhance the game, and I don't mind doing it if I'm playing the game a lot.
yeah.
But New World has not really pushed me. There's a cash shop, but it has never pushed me to spend that extra
There
money.
was a controversy during, I think it was the first beta or right before or right after or something like that about some leaked info about the cash shop and people kind of freaked out. So I think they're being super safe right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember hearing a lot of people really fucking pissed off about the cash shop, and now at this point, I'm not hearing anything about it. And looking at it, I'm like, I don't really want anything out of there.
Yeah. The cosmetics are not my taste.
Hopefully, they'll get better
Yeah.
because yeah, I looked at all the cosmetics. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy any of these.
And then the Twitch drop stuff was,
Annoying.
yeah. If you care about immersion in games, the Twitch drop stuff is immersion
You
breaking
ever like
bad.
running around with this fucking hammer that's like
Easter colors.
Easter colors, perfect. Yeah, it's like teals and baby pink and fucking
Yeah.
blue and shit. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck?
It is worth saying the game is made by Amazon, so I imagine Twitch stuff will be a constant for this game,
It'd be crazy if they didn't.
which benefits streamers, to be honest.
Yeah.
So good on them for planning for that. Because yeah, I would say streaming is just getting bigger and bigger anyway. So yeah, some other things that are going to be hit or miss for people. Exploration is done on foot. There is
Yeah, there's
teleportation,
no mounts.
but teleportation is not willy nilly. It costs a resource, and that can get expensive fast because it's based off your weight. So the more crap you have on you, the more it costs to teleport.
Mhm.
So you're gonna do a lot of hoofing it around. There's no mounts. So
You get wherever you're staying, whatever town you're in, you can go to the inn and you can kind of make that your home. Um, and you're able to teleport there, but anytime you do that, there is an hour cooldown to be able to do it again. The only time I ever noticed that is when I just used it and go,
mm,
oh man, I got an hour left. But then I'm playing the game, and when I go to do it again, I just hit the button and I start fucking teleporting. I'm like, oh damn, it's already been a fucking hour. So
yeah,
it's interesting. So this game's full of ideas that people are either going to hate or like.
mm,
And even some of the ideas, I'm like, oh, it's rough, but I appreciate it. No mounts, which I fucking mark my words, they're going to add mounts this game at some point. But I do think they should have mounts. Nothing too crazy. Maybe like a 20% increase or 40% at most. Maybe I don't know. But there's none in the game, so most of the time in this game you're gonna be fucking traveling. Now
which is the
that
MMO thing, anyways.
that
But
can
yeah,
seem tedious, but we've gone so far away from actually experiencing worlds in games and just fast traveling all over the fucking place that I appreciate they had the balls to go, no, 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 you're gonna experience this world. You can't mail shit to people. You have to find the person and fucking trade with them. And now it would be more convenient to be able to do that. But this game is really forcing you to experience this world. For better or for worse, whether you prefer that or not, you got to fucking run there.
And who knows what they're going to cave on in the future, right?
Yeah. Well,
Player
Guild Wars 2 was
player
like, we'll never
feedback.
have mounts, and now
Yeah,
there's mounts. So,
yeah. I mean, if it costs money for them, they'll change it. That's just
yeah.
it's a business. So
I just hope they don't get too convenient with some things because I like that this game does make you earn shit. It makes you travel to places. I've memorized places on the map already because I've been there multiple times doing quests. There is a fast travel, but you can't just use it willy nilly. You already kind of went over that, but there is, I forget what it's called, but there's a currency that you accrue.
yeah,
I was trying to think of the names. It's like something off.
Azith, I think, or Azith.
Azoth or
Azith.
something like that. You accrue that from certain missions, particularly the main story quests, and it caps out. And whenever you fast travel, you spend some of it, and it goes down pretty quick if you're fast traveling often. But you re-accrue it. Although I believe you can buy that in the cash shop. I think that's one of the controversies because that will make certain people who are willing to spend money and buy it progress faster than the people. I heard you can buy it. I'm not sure.
I mean,
can't
I wouldn't
confirm
be
that.
surprised because you can get bottles of Azoth,
Yeah.
and that so it makes sense.
So anyway, so I like their philosophy that there are shortcuts to get around, but at a cost and at a time limit. Other than that, you need to travel around and experience the world, especially if you're flagged for PvP. You can be flagged or not flagged for PvP. Anyone who's PvE centric is not going to be flagged for it. But in a game that is about PvP and warring, I think they want you out in the world, being available for situations to happen. And so as much as sometimes I'm like, fuck, I gotta run over there again. I like it. It's weird. Just like the gathering. Some people might not want to sit around and just fucking cut shit down all day. And you don't have to.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's my favorite part of the game.
I fucking love it. I really enjoy it. It's fucking bizarre.
As a
I
guy who
love
can,
just chopping down trees and cutting fucking different bushes and having access to new things that I couldn't fucking cut down or mine before or animals I couldn't fucking
yeah.
skin before.
I'll say, as a dude who can strip mine in Minecraft for hours,
Yeah.
yeah, it's it's fine for me.
And then
So,
you're not just doing it to cut the things down. You're getting resources like any MMO,
and
which you can
like,
use to fucking craft, and you get experience, and you level up your crafting. It's just constantly, you're just leveling shit up. Everything you do, as long as you're not just standing there, you're going to be leveling something up. It all goes towards something. And if that does it for you, this game will do it for you. But I understand if someone's like, dude, I want to fucking sit there and just chop shit down. You don't have to. There's other things to do in the game, but it is a big part of the game. And if you can enjoy that, you're gonna get more out of the game. Just like combat, fighting things feels involved. You have to dodge, block. You have your moves. The game does set you up to fight some enemies that are more, higher level than you, which I prefer because it feels like more of a challenge. But then even like hunting animals, finding random animals, rabbits, fucking boar, stuff like that, deer, hunting them down and killing them and skinning them. I think it's fun. I like doing it. So I enjoy the combat and stuff like that. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to struggle with
I think pacing's the big one.
pacing, and I don't think one thing people got to realize. Not saying that people don't get it, but I think some people just don't get it. Is all the big MMOs that you love, or all the big MMOs you're
Yeah,
referencing, they've been around. They started at a basic level and they evolved over time to give you the content that you expect from other MMOs. This game is brand new.
it's
And
not.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think it has a good amount of content. I don't think it has a great amount of content, but I think it has a good amount of content, a good starting point. So when I look at this game and when I tell people about it, I tell them it has a very good foundation. They can do a lot with this game. And if we stick with it, or anybody sticks with it and supports it, I think it has a bright future as long as the devs have good ideas. I think they could do more to make the world more interesting to explore. That's something I would like. I'd like to see mounts. I know some people don't want to see that, but I think eventually they're going to add them anyway. Horses, I don't care. But there is content that I want from the game, but I also want them to stick to their philosophy on you got to earn it. You got to
Mm.
invest time in this fucking game. When you go, I'm level 175 in this, and somebody who hasn't spent the time to do that, they're gonna go, oh shit, you've been doing that for a while. Just different kinds of progression outside of like I'm level 80 and I got fucking this gear from this dungeon and whatever, which is cool as well. But I like that it has other things to earn. That seems worthwhile. But the freedom, the almost that core root survival game that was in there before they start really working on the PvE content. Games like that, you got to make your own fun anyway. And this game kind of feels like it. It does have structure. There's a main story quest. There's side quests. There are all sorts of shit. But there's a lot of repeatable quests too that you got to do over and over again. And I feel like some people are not gonna want to grind. This game is a grind. So if you like grinding in games, you're not gonna mind it. But if you're somebody who hates the idea of grinding towards things, I think that grind's enjoyable. That's kind of a vague way
That's
to
a
put it.
two each their own thing too.
Sure. But I know people who are just not into that kind of shit, and they're like, "What do you think of the game? You think I should pick it up?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, like, I'd like you to support the game and check it out, but at the same time, I don't know if you're gonna stick with it."
I also think it's important to reiterate the pay to entry slash sub conversation, because like if you're looking at this as an MMO and you're talking about it like it's a sub based MMO, I think you're probably having the wrong idea about the game at that point. Instead of looking at this $40 game and going, can I get $40 of entertainment out of this?
Yeah,
Um,
I
I think that's where your head should be.
yeah.
I definitely feel, and I'm not even halfway EXP scale wise
Mhm.
to max level, and I've put $40 of entertainment in it. I'd say
I've
so.
already I haven't played the game very much compared to some people I know, but I've put like 30 some hours into the game. I've gotten $40 out of it.
Yeah.
And with no monthly subscription fee, that is the way to think about it, which is weird for an MMO, especially of this caliber. So, but I think that's something that just a lot of people are going to kind of struggle with. I do think this is an MMO that's not for as specific as what it once was. It's not for us that specific of a demographic as when they're making that PvP MMO. But they at this point have some pretty uncompromised ideas on how they want this game to be. It's in everything in the philosophy of the game, whether it's the crafting, the gathering, the traveling. They want you to invest time in it, and if that is not your thing, and repeatable freeform mission taking isn't your thing, if you bought the game, maybe come back later when they've added content because it might become the game that you want.
Mm.
But at this point, I like that they're staying strong and being bold about how this game is. Like, and they could fold later, but as of right now, I'm pretty impressed with them just going like, no, you got to do this.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Were you gonna say something?
I have like closing thoughts, but I'll wait.
Well, before we close out the discussion, even though we got some videos to watch and you still got to talk about your games you've been playing.
I thought it was short at least though. So
Yeah. We did a dungeon. Maybe you'll want to
yes.
hear about that.
Yeah, so 25 you on, as long as you're caught up in your
Hmm.
story, or at least been doing it. I had to play catch up because I was too busy cutting down every tree and hitting every rock in sight.
Yeah, you gain access to the dungeon through the story, but even at that point, you need to be 25 to access
Yeah.
it.
They're called expeditions in this. They're not called dungeons. And they are 5 player content, but accessible with 3, which I actually really appreciate because
Yeah.
you can then, and I've seen it in every MMO I've played, you get to a point where people want harder content. You can make it harder in that sense.
In our first go at it, we did three
We
people.
did 3 people, and I think it is a good basis for
Mm.
what dungeons can be. It has good elements to it. It has trash pulls. It has things like mob spawner. I'm just gonna word that way. That if you don't get rid of it, you're just gonna get flooded with ads. It has some minor puzzle solving, which is kind of neat. There are some mechanics that the bosses will throw at you. Nothing super complicated, but their head is there already.
Yeah, they're in a good direction already.
Yeah,
And it's
so
the first expedition we did,
yeah, and
so
I was very happy to see that because PVE content has to have that challenge factor, or people are going to get bored of it, right? And if the expeditions make you have to pay attention to things like don't stand in ring or you get stunned, and then ghosts start smacking you around,
mhm.
that's kind of important. So the ramp up from the bosses on the way and the last boss was pretty insane,
Fucking
though.
huge, yeah. I mean, we still beat him, but
Yeah,
that was a rough fight.
yeah, we whittled him down quite
Yeah.
literally. So
There was a moment in the middle of that fight where I was like, we're not gonna fucking beat
it
this
felt like a
guy.
wipe, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, we're
fortunately,
not gonna fucking beat this because we all went down once.
yeah, MMO brain went. It's not over till it's over. So
Yeah, exactly. And then
yeah,
we kept going, and once we got him halfway down, I was like, we can fucking kill this guy.
yeah, a
So
lot of kiting.
yeah, and we did, and I was like,
Yeah,
I was fucking pumped that we did it. So
and it sucks because I've unlocked new passives that would have made that situation way easier at this point
oh,
now.
I'm sure it'll be way easier now that we've all leveled up, and if we had two more people, it would have been fucking easy. Like
Yeah,
unless it scales, I don't know, but fighting that boss of three people with a healer, a tank, and then me being DPS, it was fucking rough.
well,
Especially because
and
like I was the lowest level. I think I was like 25. I think like as soon as I hit 25,
level
we
of
fucking
entry.
hopped in
So
there.
yeah,
Yeah, and so like I was taking hits all right, but not as well as both of you because you guys both I think you're at 28 at the time, and
one I'm tank. So
Sarah, yeah, and Sarah
yeah,
was 30. So, but I mean, we did it.
yeah. It gives some like kind of I guess idea as well how the game works. You have a stamina bar, so you can't just go crazy blocking and dodging, or you'll run out of stamina and your character becomes sluggish for a little bit while it recharges. Blocking the boss's hits, my stamina would go from 100 to like 22 in one
Mm.
hit. I was like, holy crap! So I have to like go block in between swings to get some stamina back. So there was some strategy to it. And like I said, this first dungeon, and so my head immediately went, "Is this dungeon perfect? No, but it was fun." And I could tell by the design of it, they're thinking. They're
Yeah.
thinking of how to make it engaging. It's got, like I said, some it's all very minor stuff, but it's like they did put a puzzle in there. They did put bosses and sub bosses in there. They put mechanics on the boss fights and stuff like that. There's chests to loot and there's conditions to open some of those chests and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
like if they just and again, I think it's just kind of the theme of this game right now. They have this great place they're at, and if they're hungry for it, and they listen to player feedback, and they are aggressive with content, I'm excited for where it could
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. It's the two things I keep telling people is like, this is a to each their own game. You're either going to dig or you're not. But I do believe, regardless of how you feel about it right now, the foundation is very strong. It's for them to make this game shit. Because I think under the right developer, and they could be that, they made the game. I think this game could turn into something really fucking good. Because it has a bunch of great things. Like I said, it's weird for me to say this, but like the Gathering, best in any MMO ever. So I mean, at least they got that.
And
But
it's really satisfying.
they got a lot of other cool systems. The housing system's really fucking interesting. It ain't ESO, but like it's cool that there are like whole districts of towns that just have houses that you can buy, and there's a tax system to that,
They count as
and
fast travel points as well.
they count as fast travel points. And I still haven't seen it yet, but I guess it will randomly display people who own that house because it's instanced. But to make it, kind of seem like the town is populated, it'll randomly show you other people's versions of that house on that road, which I think is a really cool idea. So yeah, the game's got a lot of cool ideas. And then of course, one thing that I have to reiterate is this game was not planned to be a PvE game. So They did it last minute. I think they did a good job for last minute. I was thinking the launch of this game was really good outside the servers. There
100%.
was
People
not
way overwhined about that.
yeah, there not a lot of fucking problems with this launch. I don't think people remember MMO launches, man. Because there's been some bad ones, but yeah, a lot of really good ideas. They're definitely serious about the game. It's just for them to support and create content for, and if they do a good job with that, 7 years down the road, if the game's still around, hopefully, they've thought bigger and better and gotten crazy with the ideas because any MMO successful still around right now had to do that. I mean, I remember when I played ESO, I was like, this game's fucking sterile, dude.
I
Like, this is
hated ESO in the beta.
I I played it. I was like, dude, it's like okay, but nothing's fucking gonna like this ain't gonna pull me from other MMOs. Now I played. I'm like, this got focused. It got honed in on what the fuck Elder Scrolls is, and now it's an experience that I feel like I can only have really here. It has systems other games have, but it also the whole package feels like ESO. I don't have to make a case for 14. It's I think one of the most original big MMOs out there. It is not WoW.
So I think its growth is speaking for itself right now.
Yeah. But all these games started somewhere and grew into what they are. And New World just came out. It's got to do the same thing.
Yep.
And I'm also on, some of you guys might think this is kind of dumb, but I know you're on the same page. But like, I am one of those people who are hungry for new MMOs, and I'm at the point where I will support any brand new MMO as long as it's not some weird scam game or some fucking weird free to play MMO, but like legit MMOs, if anyone's gonna fucking have the balls to fucking put the resources, time, and money into making a brand new MMO in a time where it's just legacy MMOs, I want to support those games because I want to show the market that there is interest in new MMOs, so we get more new MMOs. And so I'm glad I invested in New World. I'm enjoying it. I like it. I'm looking at Ashes of Creation,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, I said Asses of Creation. And then there's a couple of other ones out there, but even if they're not perfect when they release, I want to support them so that we have more options in MMOs because the market, even though these games are evolving and getting cool new features, it's stagnant. It's dead. There's no new
I'll
MMOs.
say if you get in there and you kind of like the idea they got going or the way a game feels, it's going to be really important with MMOs right now that are coming out because we haven't really got to do this in a while to hang in there and give them time to make a game.
Yeah.
MMOs are huge time sinks for developers and money
They
sinks.
cost a shitload of money to
They are
make,
very
especially
expensive.
in the development of the game itself before the servers. It's you're
Well, just
making massive games with massive networking, with massive fucking balances and items that you have to create, and gear and worlds and lore and all sorts of shit.
and the bigger the games get, the development becomes more and more intense regardless. Because let's
Especially
say,
when you implement like a new fucking race or class.
yeah, you now
You
have
have
to make all the old armors all over again
yep
to fit on that model. You got to do all this stuff. Unless everyone's humanoid, and then you kind of save yourself some headache in that regard,
yeah
which is
for
probably smart
sure.
development wise. But then, yeah, if you implement new jobs, now you got another thing or classes to implement more math for balancing acts and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
the longer game's out, the more the cost doesn't really go down. The tech aspect of it might go down in price, but the cost of development just stays or gets
Hmm.
higher. So if it doesn't, you see the content come out slower because they can't afford to do it as fast. So
Yeah.
that tangent out of the way. Unless you have more to say on New
No.
World, I think on a personal note, to kind of close out my thoughts on New World, I think it was worth the $40. I think it's worth checking out and supporting right now. I would highly recommend if you're playing this game to play it at a casual pace as do not burn yourself out because it is a grindy game.
Yeah.
And the way I've been looking at it, it is a good second MMO for me. 14 is my main, but there are, anyone who's played an MMO at end game level realizes there are content droughts. And during those droughts, I think New World's a great game to hop into because I don't have to pay a sub, first off. And secondly, because the landscape's constantly changing, and if they're aggressive in adding content to it, I'm going to have something to do every time I come back. So I think it's great. Personally, and I do think there's a warning that is important to put out there. If you have an EVGA card or a Gigabyte card, there's still problems. It's very rare, so don't worry too much. But I have bricked a second graphics card now. So I'm going to take a break from the game. They got to work on that. Like, I can't just keep sending my cards back to EVGA.
Fucking A, dude. Like,
But I have
if I
gone
lost
through
one card, I'd be
two
like, fuck this game.
3080s now.
Yeah. I'm glad you
Which
mentioned that after we've talked about all the caveats of this game because that's a fucking
it is to do your research before freaking out or anything like that. But it is pretty restricted to EVGA is the big one, which is the one I have, and then some Gigabyte cards. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm having fun.
Yeah, when your card's not getting destroyed. That is the thing. Like, I guess you could go like, oh, I understand in the beta that a problem and it bricked my GPU, but like twice, like fucking yeah, you can't just keep sending it back in for them to send you another
If I
one.
wasn't the type of person who had a backup GPU to be able to continue using my computer, I'd probably my mood would be much different,
Oh,
right?
dude, 100%, dude. Luckily, we got a bunch of GPUs in this house, so
Well, and EVGA's warranty and customer support is really good, so like there's no stress factor. I literally contacted them last night, and they've already sent me the steps to send it in. So
it's good.
they're fast. It's great. So,
Yeah.
but whatever's going on between whether it's EVGA's fault, Nvidia's fault, or Amazon Game Studios, that shit needs to get figured out because there are people who are not in my position. So
For sure, dude. Like, imagine you like saved up a bunch of money, you got the one fucking GPU. You're excited to
that are hard to
have
get
a
right now.
fucking powerful ass GPU that yeah you can't get because goddamn fucking supply line is fucked. But and then you brick it and you're like, well, I don't have a PC anymore.
Yeah.
That would blow. I mean, I don't have any problems with my PC, but luckily, I have a second one and I have spare GPUs. So like, if that thing bricked for some reason, I'd still be able to play stuff. But it would be annoying. But yeah, just it's a fuck situation regardless. But for people who are just like got the one, that would suck. Especially if you just want to play a game. Like, oh god, that's so crazy.
I got plenty
Blows
of
my
stuff
mind.
to play, but it does suck because I want to play New World.
Sure.
So
Yeah, but is the cost worth it? Like the risk.
I'm sure EVGA is probably tired of switching my card out anyways.
Yeah. So to close out this talk, because this episode's going to run really long, but we've had a lot of games we've been playing to kind of catch up on. I think we're both really liking New World
Yeah.
outside of the things we've talked about. I do understand almost every criticism that I've heard from this game outside of the server stuff. That I think some people were less understanding about than they should have been, but
Or just people poo pooing for no fucking reason.
for sure. But the criticism of the gameplay loop, I have not talked to anybody who has criticized the game that I think was being unfair so far.
Great.
This is a to each their own game, and it does have gameplay that some people just aren't going to dig. If you did buy the game, hopefully you, unless you played in less than 2 hours, which I would say play it more so you actually know if you like the game. Just know that you're supporting an MMO and fucking come back later, and hopefully the game turns into something more robust and something that you can enjoy more. But if you don't agree with our opinions in the comments, you want to let us know if you're liking the game, not liking the game. I mean, I'm probably going to agree with you either way. I'm just a person on one side going, I like the game. But
For sure.
I've talked to people who are like, I don't like the game. I'm like, oh, what do you like about it? And they start going off. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also
I
don't
mean,
I don't love the game. I have to say that.
that's where I'm at too.
Yeah.
I don't
I
love it either.
like the game.
Yeah.
And I can see myself in the future loving the game.
I'm excited for the future.
Yeah.
Just
So
playing it, I'm like, this is solid. Like there's some really cool shit they can do with this engine because even though it lacks some of the content people are looking for, it feels like a modern engine. Unlike a lot of legacy MMOs were made fucking 10 years ago or even longer, and they're just updating those engines and building upon old infrastructure. This is a brand new game, brand new engine. Its future potentially can be more advanced
yeah.
when it comes to MMOs. It's gathering, bring it up again, is more advanced than any other MMO I've played. So in like a technical level, and it's really cool. It's the game's got vaulting too. I mean, that's not a big thing for some people. For me, it feels like a modern game when I can like vault over a fucking fence or jump over a
It feels
wall.
good too. So
Yeah, it feels like every MMO should have it. So, I'm happy with that.
yeah,
Feels modern, feels like a brand new game. So, but yeah, we both like it. But criticism makes sense in a lot of regards. So
100%.
let us know in the comments. Have you played it? What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What don't you like about it? What do you like about it? Maybe you're in the middle. And if you haven't played it, are you interested in playing it? If you're not, why not? If you are interested in playing and haven't pulled the trigger yet, why not? Let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to New World. What else have you been playing?
I'm also going to add criticisms should be openly said so Amazon can see them too, so they can do something about it.
Sure.
So, played some Mortal Kombat XL. Originally, when we talked about the Plus games, we weren't sure if this was the newest one or the one before. It is definitely the one before. Most of my the graveyard where you can unlock stuff was done. So,
Yeah, I started playing the story. And I was on like chapter 10 or 11 or something like that. I was like, I played this.
yeah. So, can't really talk about outside of that. Played it, talked about it in the month. Play a little bit of Minecraft, but mostly in single player. I got all these ideas in my head right now, but I can't seem to like necessarily realize them. So I've been kind of like messing around there, and because survival resources are not as expendable as they are in creative, I've been building in creative to kind of make sure that I have the idea I want before I go spend the time gathering the resources and building something in a more dangerous environment. So that's where I'm at in there. Mostly right now, I'm trying to make like a shrine to house the dragon egg from when we killed the Ender Dragon. So, um, now I'm drawing a blank on what I played. I know.
So I always make a list.
Yeah, I probably should. When I usually only play like 2-3 things a week, but
Yeah.
it has been weeks. So,
Yeah, with the whole COVID thing, fucking,
yeah.
we have like weeks of games we've been playing. That's why I cut some of the games. I'm like, I don't need to talk about that.
I think the only thing really I've left that's worth talking about is I started playing Dragon Quest 11 again.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you why. I just had like this itch to play a traditional JRPG like one night. I think I was just kind of like didn't know what I wanted to do. I started playing it and I realized, as I always do when I play a JRPG, that that's my roots.
Yeah.
And I in 2 play sessions have put 20 hours into that game already. So I love that game. It's really well made. The story's not like phenomenal or anything, but it is good. It's 100% good. I'm not trying to
It's
downplay it.
not Nino Kuni 2, but it is kind of a simple story,
It is, but
but
it
it's
is also
charming.
darker than it appears to be because the
Yeah.
game has a very goofy visual style.
Yeah.
But the thematics of it are pretty dark, as Dragon Quest likes to do. So, for people who have played it, without spoiling anything, I started Act 2, which happens after a pretty major event. And I am revisiting a former arena turned casino. I'm going to leave it at that. I have not done it yet, but that's where I'm at. So, I also love that this game has like the skill tree system, but it's not like overly complex. It's like actually very simple. But the game does really allow you to kind of like character A can use this weapon, and then sometimes also shields, right? And then sometimes they're allowed to dual wield, and other people aren't, and those trees let you kind of explore that, and it's interesting because almost all of the characters in that game at this point, I don't think any of them are on the default in which what I had received them. I went out of my way to try their alternate weapons. It seems like with every character, which may be not the most efficient thing, but it has been kind of fun. Like the older guy, trying to stay vague on details. He starts off as like a monk, and I got him as like a caster with a two-handed like with a magic staff, and he does like
Interesting.
heals and attack spells and stuff like that. And it's really funny because then in story elements, he's doing martial arts and stuff. I'm like, it's not even the character I made. So it's fun. I don't know. The only thing I say is if you've never played it, there is a newer version of the game
Oh yeah,
I think it's called the Elusive Age or something like that. I can't remember. Originally came on a Switch. It is on everything now.
it's on everything
It
now.
is on
I didn't
everything
know
now.
that.
It also lets you play the game in old school 2D if you want to. So
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that.
I would 100% recommend if you like JRPGs to pick it up. Very cool game.
I mean, the stories. I've played it for anybody who doesn't know. I put like almost 130 hours into it, so I played it quite a bit. I fucking loved it. It is one of my favorite JRPGs. Not story wise. I like the story. I think it's cool. But just fucking experience wise, I love the charm. I love the gameplay. I love that there's things in the world you can find that like are powerful and like you were talking about earlier today in the casino.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that you're working towards that is very beneficial. And I miss JRPGs that have those little
Mini
things,
games.
mini games, stuff like that. That game was one of the games that when I beat it, I was not stoked that it was over. I was like, "Fuck, man."
That's a pretty typical. I think the biggest thing is with JRPGs because the time sink.
Mhm.
You've lived in the game like quite literally at that point.
As long as
So
there's stuff to do and the characters are likable for me. Because I played other ones like Final Fantasy 15 when I finished it. Because of the nature of the ending, it felt like I finished the story, and it felt
I mean, I can see that game does the
I
way it ends is kind of
yeah, I did have
yeah.
like a little bit of like, oh man, it's over, but at the same time, it's so story heavy and the ending is finite. So, um, when I was done with it, I felt like I had finished a movie, kind of, outside of obviously I was playing it.
I think that game, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It does have post game, but yeah, for sure.
for sure. But yeah, when I played like fucking Dragon Quest, I've been like exploring this world and doing a lot of grinding and doing all this casino shit and all these side things and all these fun little charming missions and shit that when I was over, I was like, God damn it. Like, what do I do now?
I mean, that was me even with Nino Kuni too, though. Like that
Same, yeah.
game's story is like whatever, but
The experience is a lot of fun though.
yeah, I had a lot of fun. And
There's a
after I
lot of
was done
content.
playing, it, I was like, I kind of want to be a completionist about this. I didn't have
Hmm.
time to be, but the want was there for sure. Um, but yeah, it's scratching a real itch I have right now, um, which will always come back because, like I said, this is pretty much where like gaming blew up for me. I won't say started
Hmm.
because we started on like Zelda and Mario, like and Sonic and stuff like that, like everyone else. But I think I fell in love with gaming because of JRPGs. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's pretty much it. I can't. It's hard to talk about JRPGs because like I'd
You
have
don't
to
want
talk
to
about the
ruin it.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So play this game. It
And
is a good one.
it's not like a movie like where you're just gonna spoil. Like someone has to decide to invest the time in this game to experience it. You said you already have like 60 hours in the game,
Yeah.
and I had like 100 fucking 26 or some shit.
It's like Persona 5. I haven't beat that game for
I
100
would
hours.
love to fucking play that game, but goddamn,
Might as well get the Royal Edition
I
at
was
this
like
point.
5 or 6. Yeah, I would just restart. It was like 5 or 6 hours in the game, and I was still doing the first fucking dungeon of the game.
It's a big game.
Well, there's just like a lot of not commentary, a lot of dialogue, a lot of story.
But First Engine's very bad about that. And then
It's
like
also a tutorial.
yeah, which is why it's bad about that. And then like everything in that game has huge social stuff. So
Yeah.
you're talking to people, you're talking to people. You have to like that dynamic. And then the
That's the reason
dungeons are
why.
huge.
That's the reason why I haven't beaten Fire Emblem yet.
It's
It's
very
because all the
similar.
social shit, and I loved it. I love the gameplay, and I
Yeah.
love the juxtaposition of fucking tactical combat and this weird borderline dating social game.
Yeah.
It's really cool, but it's a fucking time sink. Like you're there, you're invested, you're trying to figure out what people like
Yeah.
and getting to know them and shit, and then you're taking that into combat and having these like fucking 30-minute, 40-minute fucking
It's
skirmishes.
actually really interesting that Fire Emblem and Persona actually are very similar in that regard. It's
Yeah.
just that the type of combat they offer are different because
Yeah.
they're both also very much calendar based games.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's really interesting. What were we talking about? Oh,
JRPGs in general, but
Dragon
yeah,
Quest.
that's just the one game I mean, like I said, in 2 days I put like 20 hours into it, so I was like, definitely hitting it pretty hard.
On that note, fucking Tales of Rise still on my hit list. I have to beat that game before the end of the year, before our game of the year discussion, because I feel like it could be a contender for my top three. But I'm gonna start playing that probably after I beat Far Cry 6, because I'm invested in that. I want to beat the story, see if it stacks up for me for game of the year. I don't think it's gonna, but
Yeah,
we'll
whatever.
see.
So whatever I'm gonna do, I have to do before November 19th.
November 19th. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think Tales of Rise will I've been hearing great things about it. From the reviews to even just random people on Twitter saying they loved it. So I want to play it. I've been hyped about it for a while. I just haven't had time to play it. So once I get a game that's gonna take like 20 hours to beat out of the way, I'm gonna start playing it and hopefully beat it before the end of the year. And
Yeah.
before other games fucking come out, because this year is just releasing all the big bangers now until the end of the year. So
Yeah, and then next year's gonna be all the stuff people pushed back. So
is Forza Horizon not the Forza Horizon coming out this year?
I think it's next year. I could be wrong.
Next year?
I could be wrong.
That was coming out later this year. I've been hearing a bunch of shit about that. People got to play it recently and they're like, this is the best looking racing game ever made, and they spent 3 years on this instead of two, and it fucking shows, and it's like people are hyping it up. I'm like, fuck.
I mean, when we saw it, it
Yeah,
looked like
it's
one of the best looking racing games ever made.
yeah,
So
it's amazing looking. Yeah.
visually, I should say.
So that's another game I gotta fucking pick up, and then I gotta figure out what piece of Halo I get to play soon. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that game. Anyway, are you playing anything else?
Nothing worth mentioning.
Nothing worth mentioning. Okay. So yeah, let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? Any games you would recommend? Any games you would tell us to not fucking play? No one ever says that, but I always like to throw that out there. Maybe you're someone who's like, I should warn them, but I don't know if I should. Yeah, you should. Fucking tell me not to play a game, and I might just play it anyway. And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Okay, we got videos to watch, three of them. So this ain't gonna be as long as the discussion we've had, but
I mean, much shorter.
gonna be much shorter. But it's still gonna be a sit. It's gonna be like a 3 hour taste cast. But
Hope you missed us.
with the absence of us, in light of the bullshit, fucking we got to make up for it. So first video we got is in theme with a game we talked about, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, release date trailer for PS5 and PS4. TGS apparently happened when I was laying in bed, and what I've gathered is not a whole lot of shit was really like announced, nothing really big and new, but there was a lot of trailers that came out for games that we're kind of expecting. I think this is one of those, so we're gonna watch
A lot
it.
of interviews.
A lot of interviews. I should go through that. And again, let me reemphasize, if there is a video that came out during TGS or in general that we didn't react to because we weren't reacting to anything, let us know. And I'm trying to catch up, so fill me in on that. Okay, so this trailer again, Stranger Paradise. It's 3 minutes. We're gonna watch it, and we're both already picking it up, but. Maybe this will make us more hyped, or maybe tell us, whoa, maybe we shouldn't be so hyped on it. Maybe it fucking sucks. That'd be crazy if a trailer was able to convey that.
Especially after playing it.
Yeah, exactly. Ready to watch this?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, check this volume. Final Fantasy likes to have crazy fucking loud music.
35 years, Jesus.
Everybody's still talking chaos in the comments, too.
If I've learned anything from the internet in the last 2 years, words that get popular don't disappear. Like every other word that comes out of people's mouth these days.
Wait! My crystal. It's her.
It's cool. Because the map we did do was all indoors, and like a block tower thing, like a castle or some shit.
When darkness veils the world,
It's
four
crazy.
warriors
Crystal
of
light.
light shall come.
Giant fucking eggs.
I'm Neon,
Yeah.
and I only count 3 of you.
They all have the same eyes.
Deliver
This
this world from the clutches of
Those guys are on the
darkness.
same list.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, you
not
four
a warrior
don't look
alert.
like easy pickings.
This fuck yeah.
This land is home to four crystals. Fire, wind, water, and earth. The darkness corrupting them causes fires to rage, winds to die, seas to
Progress
languish,
through. Go
and
into different
earth to
locations and
decay.
shit.
The people
glad they're
are
all different
lost,
looking.
and scarce little light remains in their
I
hearts.
did that in the
Right.
demo.
So you want us to do
And when
something
I fought
about
it
the
first
darkness
time,
clouding
it
the
ran for me and
crystals?
jumped off the edge, so I still have the XP for it because it felt his death. But I was just like, why?
There!
What's up with these summons?
What are you?
It's a lightning.
Answer me!
Those are just it's
Oh, they are, yeah. I thought that was like maybe a reputation of some of the summons, but they look so like vague. Yeah.
also being two things kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, I mean, third person.
Merch. It's gonna be like 14. It's Pepsi Man.
True.
I couldn't. I know its name.
That's kind of
Dear
tacky.
Mud.
Come and meet your fate. Your foolish journey ends here.
He's out there. I can feel him. I just have to keep looking.
He's out there.
May the crystal's blessing be with you. Always.
Sorry. Chain. I hadn't seen that bit before. The voice actor, I'm not even like,
I
like they
never
sound
asked
okay.
your
It's just
name.
What I was saying
their
earlier.
directions.
Garland.
Yeah. Their conversation just sound like a bunch
My
of
name's
bros,
Jack
really dorky,
Garland.
but like none of them are like bad.
Yeah.
They just all have gruff voices, but I don't know. Okay, so March 18th of 2022, second demo coming soon. Well, we played that,
Did that, yeah.
but we skipped this trailer because we were not around. What do we think?
I don't. You know, what's the worst part about the trailers they've shown for this game? I don't think it really conveys the gameplay loop very well.
No, fucking nothing I've watched on this. Even the first demo I played didn't fucking convey the game to me as well as when we played it.
Yeah.
That's why I
think
thought it was important we discuss it because people might not fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, it serves as a story trailer, which is good. It also definitely emphasizes the second map, which we did not do. But yeah, I don't know. I after playing it, it was nice to be able to watch the trailer and see things that I wanted to see. Like, I love corals. It's one of my favorite enemies in Final Fantasy, and it was in the second map. They're typically annoying because they do status effects, but I love the way they look. It looks like, I don't know if those are Sahagin. It's kind of hard to tell. The worm. Different animations for the executions for everything too. So they, I shouldn't be super surprised that the Team Ninja makes quality ass games, and I'm just glad to see that. Especially from playing it and even seeing this, there's going to be variety. And if it's anything like Neo 2, it should be a pretty long game, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to get 20 to 30 hours out of this at the least.
Yeah.
I also kind of touching on when you're talking about like things from Final Fantasy. I mean, all Final Fantasies, I've always loved the continuation of all these character types and monster types from every Final Fantasy carrying over to other ones, but having different interpretations of them that are typically identifiable. Like, oh, it's a chocobo, but it looks more realistic here. Oh, that's more cartoony looking. And even that being shared into other people making Final Fantasy stuff, it's interesting to see their interpretation of these things, which you can identify by seeing them, but they look different because this isn't Square Enix making this.
Yeah.
So I kind of love that shit with just their games, but even seeing it here is really neat.
Yeah, Square knows it. They value it very much so, but Final Fantasy is a brand. Like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So
it's the brand for them outside of Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
But I would argue Final Fantasy is more
Global.
Yeah, for sure. Less celebrated than Dragon Quest, but
Yeah, they take time off for Dragon Quest.
yeah, it was a decent trailer. Honestly, all this did to me was made me go like, God damn it, just like release the game, because I played the demo, I really enjoyed it, I want to play it more, and I saw more shit that I haven't done, and so I'm excited to play it even more. So I don't think that's the trailer that did it to me. I think it's that I played the game, and now I'm seeing content I don't have access to. So
Yeah, the trailer was super just okay.
yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Like if I had not played the game and watched that, I'd be like, maybe I'll pick it up. But I've played the game. I like the game, so it's kind of a weird way to watch a trailer. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments what'd you think of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. That fucking name. Did it look interesting to you? Did it not? Did anything that we said about it possibly sway you into being more interested in it? Or did you play the demo and you have your own thoughts on that experience? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments. It was a cool trailer. Did you like the trailer? Did you hate it? Let us know. All right, next video we got is Earth Defense Force Tokyo Game Show 2021 gameplay. Again, TGS happened. We didn't watch any of this shit. So, and we're both Earth Defense Force fans. So sixth game is definitely exciting. This is a 14-minute video, so it's a little long. They will be talking about gameplay while showing gameplay. Anything you want to say before we watch this?
I mean, it's just kind of an interesting tidbit. One of the streamers I watch got to be there with them to talk to them about the game because she's a fan of the series, and they asked her if she wanted to be in the game. So she'll probably do some voice acting for the game, which I thought was kind of interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, at least there's not the pressure of her having to act well,
No, 100%.
because everyone's gonna fucking be like, "Whoa!"
No, and honestly, it was more oh, this person who's got a pretty decent following enjoys our game. This is a good promotion for us,
For
type of
sure,
thing,
yeah.
So,
It's like cross promotion,
but
really. Yeah.
yeah, but it's neat because obviously like she enjoys the game. You could tell, so it's just like, do you want to be in it? Well, who's gonna say no to that? Yeah, I want to be in your game. So
For sure.
cool moment.
That's cool.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, EDF.
Yeah. I mean, I like every EDF I've played. I'm a huge advocate of them. When people are like, "Oh, I'm not really into them," I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense, but not really," because I think they're fucking really fun and offer a lot. So I think more people should play EDF. I'm very excited for a sixth one. I haven't even beaten 5, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm curious about what new features are they adding to this, because each one. I mean, it's mostly just you got new maps, new enemies, new weapons. And that's enough for me. But they did add a couple things to 5 that were not in 4.1, like being able to run with certain characters and other things. So I'm curious about what else they are doing here. So, yeah.
Also, I think the big thing to mention with EDF, if you're not familiar for some reason, I think they are like the epitome of video game.
Yeah, 100%. It's gameplay.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
You're there for fun.
you're not getting great graphics. You're not getting like a compelling story. You're not getting great voice acting. They know exactly what the fuck these games are. They lean into the camp, fuck 150%. But the gameplay is what matters. And if you want to destroy fucking cities while unloading on huge crowds of giant insects and aliens with crazy fucking weapons that a lot of people would never even dream of fucking making in their game, in a multiplayer co-op experience. I mean, like, there's no other
With
EDF
loot.
with loot. Yeah, there's no games like EDF. So they are purely gameplay and a video game for the sake of fun. So anything else?
Let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
And what I'm enjoying. Okay, let's get started.
That green screen.
Yeah, looks horrible.
So during the loading, there are a couple of useful information. Okay,
Look at these
there are a couple
PS5
of people
graphics.
who
Oh yeah.
who look
next gen.
like ordinary people. So this is the underground base. Okay, so human beings.
Which is interesting because EDF
form
5
in
starts in an underground base
underground
like
base.
this.
The tutorial, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
right,
is
because the world
fucking. I
is
hate it so much.
pretty bad.
It's so bad.
collapsed.
It's interesting though because it looks
And
like there's
the door is
a
opened
objective
and you are on the
indicator. There's a
ground.
trail he has to follow, which is
That was
new.
in 5.
And you have
Was
to
there?
Yeah.
use the radar.
I don't remember that at all.
When we look at the people on
I
our
will
side,
point
there
out that the
are
city's already ruined.
Yeah.
people with the
And the
different
trees were
types
wiggling,
of the
which
costumes
is
and-
pretty advanced for EDF.
and
Yeah, it's
the,
weird.
what they wear is different. So there may be military people and also civilians, right? That is right.
Also,
So it looks like
there's
some
actually a
people
lot
are
on the
wearing
screen
a
for
suit.
EDF.
Yeah.
So
we
that
need
continues
everyone
as well. That's pretty exciting because
part of
one
the
of the
team
best
to protect
things
the
about
Earth.
EDF is there's all this stuff and it's all destructible and whatnot. And
So
there's
you
just more
see
variety of that.
these
and
kind of the
denser-
people.
Well, it's just weird in a
So
game where you
this,
can destroy everything.
lieutenant
Shit's already
type
destroyed.
of the position.
But so it's like a post-apocalyptic fucking EDF, which is interesting. But the density of
items.
all the stuff on the
So
screen is
there's
more than
one
they've done in the
with
past.
blue suit. Actually,
Also,
this character is a
the
professor,
textures on the outfits
professor from the
are
university,
slightly
maybe?
more advanced than before.
Yes,
I know for
we
anybody who's
are
not
getting closer to the enemy. So
aware of these
let me
games.
change the weapon. Yes,
Ah,
I see.
it's
I
far
see.
guy.
Can I shoot?
Anybody who's not
kinda
acquainted with
feel
these
bad
games is probably
because
like,
they
what are you
also
talking about?
want
Like,
to
what are you
survive.
fucking
They
talking
are
about
also
these
struggling.
graphics?
I feel kind of bad. Well, we are trying very hard to
Yeah,
survive.
in pure comparison to 5.
Yeah,
They
not in
always attack
general.
us,
Like,
so we have to fight back. There's no option. There's no mercy.
we have to fight back. There's no
So-
mercy.
We don't speak same language, so we have to fight against each other. And
That's
they
not
are
really good
called
reasoning. I'm gonna have to.
colonists.
No, I think
Fuck.
everybody should fight against each other if they don't speak the same language. That sounds
Well,
like human
we-
history.
When we attack them, and
Glad to see
they fell down, but
the
over time they get recovered. They are still alive. He is still alive. It
they
looks
didn't get rid
very
of
real.
the regenerating limbs and stuff.
Now
Yeah.
he's
God, I was
back,
trying to figure out.
and I have to shoot again.
Here's an EDF hot take. Anyone who
And
doesn't play the
you
games
have
isn't
to
gonna care.
finish it.
I don't like in 5 the
Last
blood
coffee into
effects,
the nail.
and they're in this.
Okay, now
that they go
if this is
everywhere.
how
It's
you
just
can
yeah, it's just too
climb
much.
over the
I think
object.
it just makes
Yeah,
the
I
map
didn't
look
jump,
ridiculous.
But I was
But-
able
Fate
to
Reaper, yeah, the
be
Fate
on the top
Yeah.
of the.
I mean,
kind of
it's not
the,
enough to make me
object.
go, fuck, I hate this,
And,
but I prefer if they weren't there.
You can also climb over these objects. Why don't you try it?
Yeah, try it.
Maybe it was too high.
Interesting.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah,
could do
that's
that. I was able to do
You do
that.
a weird like floaty jump.
So you don't
usually.
have to jump.
Yeah, it's very
or
floating. You just gotta like get in the air and your feet
do
are
the
and you
rolling,
just kind of float
but
by.
you can climb. And on the left-hand side, there are enemies, so be careful.
I do
Okay,
not remember arrows
so
pointing
they
at you
have
like
guns,
this.
and they are kind of
It was
intelligent.
only in the tutorial
yes.
mission, to my knowledge.
They can have a conversation
Or if
with
you're
each
idle
other.
for a long or too long in a mission, like not
So
advancing, I
Watanabe-san,
think
you
it
have
would
to
point you in
watch
the
your
direction.
back.
Weird.
So
That's interesting.
There it
They're like
is.
on the buildings.
yeah, I don't remember the frogs climbing.
Yeah, when I fought them,
Yeah.
they're just walking
So
in the
it's
streets.
good. I don't have
They
to
were good about
jump every
taking
time.
cover and hopping back
Right,
out
if
when they were
you see some
regenerated
obstacles,
their health. But
You don't
the
have
frogs
to
are annoying
hesitate,
that
and
way.
you can blow them up. Okay, now let me do that.
I want to see.
Maybe there's an enemy
Yeah, the
on the back of this
destruction
building,
looks
I think.
nicer. It's still the end result. Still, everything falls down, disappears.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but
There you go.
the collapsing looks nicer.
Use a different weapon.
Please.
Yes. Now he's gone.
Yes.
If you look at the map, yes, it looks like all the aliens
The
are
world
gone.
looks like this. What are you even fucking fighting for?
How
I
my
mean,
people doing?
so
Are
we
they
got-
doing good?
You're saving the world
can
in
look at the
EDF 4
radar.
and 5, and the whole process of saving the world is destroying whole
Yeah,
cities.
you're doing this.
you
but if it's
realize
already
the
like this
arrow.
before you show up, fuck you doing? So I'm
You
seeing
can
we're
just
still
follow them,
getting
and
the
you will
ammo,
see the
or not the
new
ammo, the
enemy.
weapon
The crates.
This communication
We're getting
is
the fucking
interesting.
armor crates,
They are kind of
and
the
looks like health
civilians.
is the same.
So
I wouldn't expect
instead
them to
of
change that, but
making communication specific
still
to
there,
military, you can
the
have a
system changed quite a
conversations.
bit from
Kind of.
from 4.1
And the
because
lieutenant is making
when you
military
duplicates it,
specific communication.
levels up your weapons,
And
whereas in
there are some
4.1
non-professional fighters, but
you
you
just
have to
if
really
you got
collaborate
the
with
same
each
weapon,
other.
you just didn't get anything.
Yeah, I think 5 just was overall quality of life better. So
Yeah.
Okay,
it is weird they're on
be
top.
careful, everyone.
No, it's cool though. I'm glad they're
Well, watch out, watch
being
out.
affected by the terrain.
Yeah. I also think it's weird that we're getting the frogs as our
Well,
example.
this looks great.
I'm not that I'm complaining. They're probably
This is
one of the
fun.
most common enemies.
Well, I
Very
assume
fun
this is
to play.
fucking one of the first levels, if not the first level. So it'd be interesting if you
And
start
there's an
fighting
enemy
frogs.
right behind your back, so be careful.
I hope you can turn those arrows off.
Wow, it's fun.
I hate that
I
there's a
don't- I don't
constant
wanna
stream
end.
of arrows coming out of them.
Let me play. Well, Watanabe-san, I don't care. Let me continue. Well, please stop. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but please stop. I have to introduce
Please
some other
stop.
aspects.
Okay, now I want to
Interpretations
pass the
are
controller over to Okajima-san. What is so fun?
It's like
Please
someone's being
release it
victimized.
immediately.
Please
Yeah,
stop.
I know we had to postpone the release timing. But anyway, next time I'm going to play. Let me see
Please stop. My turn to play.
which one
I
do you
want to tell
want me
people
to
when I play a
play.
game.
I said it's my turn.
Any comments from the audience? Radar? Air radar?
I mean, I'd like to see the
Sensor?
air raider, but
Okay, a lot of people say radar, so okay, I'm going to choose
Interesting.
air radar to play.
boy,
It's a
drones.
character that can request airstrikes, right? Yes.
UI looks very
So I think
similar
there are a
to
lot of story
prior games,
elements.
and the character designs are different. Though,
Yeah,
which is
please
interesting.
be
Yeah.
patient
I know
until
the
Wing
the
Diver
game
looked kind of
is
similar, but I barely
released.
saw him.
I know
Okay,
5
maybe
you,
it's hard to
you were a
understand,
character,
but
and then they
I
were
want to
just
start here.
those 3 or 4
So
jobs
air
or whatever.
radar. Okay, I think
Well,
this is
your
going to be
outfit
a
advanced
very
as you play the game.
rare
Because in
play.
the beginning, the fencer just
It
looks
used
like a
to be
fucking like
Air
a
Force.
We're
Workers.
civilian
worker.
in the
Yeah.
beginning, yeah. And then you
And we're
eventually-
going to use
Yeah, the
that
drone.
Weird.
power For
I
air
fucking hate
raider.
those arrows.
in this world.
Yeah, I
So
wonder
they
if
don't
do
know how
shut
much
off.
power they have.
I hope so, because I really fucking I hate the way
But
it looks.
Now you're going to see that, and
At
around
least
the
there's no way to
aerators, you
fucking
can
not understand
see
where
the
to go, but-
drones.
What's
The graphics are
drone
great.
do?
I don't know.
The drone is
Unless
hovering.
it's something that
it
like I
designates
have never
specific
unlocked. I've never
points.
seen that before.
Oh, the professor is there. She's kind of in the way. Okay, I'm going to throw it, and you can see the drone flies up, and the grenade will be
It did the
spread.
attack.
So
That's
that is a weapon
The fuck?
that is very up to the time.
They've changed it
And
up a
another
lot.
one I want you to
But
introduce
DJI
is
is
a gun
fucking
carrier,
helping save the Earth.
like a
I like how they
copter.
went from doing like fucking
You
naval
specify a
bombardments
spot,
to
you can
drones.
see that
Well, I hope
pink
it's not all
broken
just
car.
drones, but it's
Agreed.
still
If I
cool.
hit that, and did you see that? One drone flew over, attacked the target, and came back. Okay, so you can use the drones to do airstrikes. You can order the drones to do airstrike. This is called an auto cannon carrier.
Well, it's typically different types of weapons.
Some people may be
so
familiar with
it'd be weird if
this.
all their weapons are all drones, or
Well,
if there's a weapon
You
type
can
that's drone,
specify
and they're
a
just
scope
showcasing their abilities.
attack.
I was
Because it'd be weird if
he
he can't fucking have
And
vehicles.
you can attack
Agreed.
from
And yeah, if he doesn't have the Olympic gun.
Yeah,
above
that'd be fucking crazy.
or from
But if this is just the
somewhere
replacement for
away
airstrikes and
from
stuff
the
like
target.
that.
Yeah, that's fine.
zone.
It
So now
seems
we
more.
see
It looks more
enemies.
fun
Yeah.
than some of
Can you see
the
the
shit he does.
enemies?
Well, some of the
on
wait
the
times
screen?
on the airstrikes are pretty long. So.
Yeah.
There we go, ants.
You see the invaders alpha, those ants. So I'm
I think it just
just
goes
throw
fucking
a
nuts.
grenade and the drone flew over and kill the enemies.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder what
And
changes
the rest
other
of the enemies
classes
would
got them. 'Cause
come.
that one, like the tank
Then
here,
you
dude.
kill them
They didn't show him.
with a gun carrier.
Well, they haven't shown the
You
other
hit the
person either.
target.
Wing diver.
Yeah, yeah.
They skipped over him real quick, but yeah, we
think
have some gameplay.
I think I need to get closer so the audience can see the screen
It's
well.
interesting. You have 4 drones and you're shooting
There are,
them, and
4
they go and
drones.
attack them.
They all flew over to
Yeah, yeah.
attack and they
It's-
came
it's
back.
really-
3, 4. Okay, all of them.
I'm not opposed
have
to
come
it.
back.
It's so different.
It makes them seem
Then-
more combat effective.
Yeah.
In a more straightforward
Can
sense.
do a
Yeah, because they're
scope
pretty slow
strike.
pace.
Well, and they're like really supportive, and they
Okay,
like
this-
like
this
you know you
change
gotta
the
wait
defense
for the
line.
vehicles to be able to drop in, and there's a lot of build up with them.
Yeah.
So
Whereas
this is
having
how
drones that can straight up
Irritor
attack
is. It is actually
seems,
a drone user.
A little more effective in just being in combat, while still maintaining that they use like gadgets and
It has
call
other
in shit.
functions or weapons too. Well, it's really fun to use the drones to kill the enemies.
Sold.
The sound drop
I'm gonna buy the game
creators
now.
I didn't even have to see anything. I was sold anyways.
Yeah, for sure. They can
thought
just tell.
hard
Yeah.
about how to enjoy
Unless they did something
Aerator
really
in
crazy
this
to the
world.
game and just
Yeah.
got rid of the core concept, we'll just buy them. These are essentially dynasty stories for me.
And like this, you can guard
Are those the replacement for the turret now?
yourself. So there are drones come over to protect you. So this is kind of a supplement, a support gear.
Yeah, what about vehicles?
Yeah, where's all the? I mean, like the turret
That
was even like a
protects you
thing. You threw the briefcase down, the
from the
turret came
enemies.
out. You know. So.
So now let's get closer to the enemies.
Like I'm definitely cool with the addition of drones, but I don't want
Alright.
them to just
Aerator
be
does not
the
run.
drone guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
be
I'm
too much of
going
a
to roll.
change.
I have 2 minutes to go.
Like if they can't bring in like tanks and spider bots and mechs and shit, I'm gonna be fucking not happy.
I'm having PTSD with the diagonal roll.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Well, I wanted
Even the
to
devs
show
do it.
how he attacks.
They designed the
so I
game
got
and
too
they're
far
like,
away
I'm not
from
moving
the
fast enough.
enemies.
Yeah.
I
Roll
think
diagonally.
that I'm running out of
Optimal
time.
speed.
1 minute left. Okay, I'm going to try my
So
best.
funny. Or the link roll.
Here he is. Okay, I'm going to attack them. You can see the drones. They attack the targets where you instructed. The drones are cute and reliable at the same time.
I don't know about the.
I don't know
cute
what to
part.
say
That-
makes you
that's
feel
probably
like
subjective, I
you have a
suppose.
pet.
I don't know if I'd call them cute, but if someone called them cute, I'd be like, yeah, I guess.
Let me continue
Maybe.
a bit longer, just a bit longer. Because I want to show some other things that drone can do.
Oh, guys, all those fucking crystals you gotta shoot.
Yeah. The spawning stations.
Hate them.
Guard drone. I want you to try the guard drones.
Chick sounds like
Can
she
you tell that
fucking
the
drank
guard
some
drones
ZQL
are
before
attacking
she
the enemies now?
started talking.
The red small ones.
I appreciate they
It's,
even have interpretations. So.
Oh, dude,
Auto
100%.
Move.
When I first looked up this video, I'm like, oh, damn.
That was abrupt.
That was very fucking abrupt. I just assumed we were gonna watch the video in Japanese, so
Yeah,
with
for
maybe subtitles, but yeah, I'm glad they have somebody translating. What do we think?
I have questions, but it looks like EDF.
Yeah,
Even if they do completely change it, a part of me is going to be a little disappointed, but I can still play EDF5, right? So it's not a huge loss. It just needs to, if they're going to make drastic changes like that to Aerator, hopefully it feels good, is all.
Yeah, and they weren't clear on if that is the only thing or if they're just showcasing new shit.
Yeah, I feel like they were just showing it off because he wasn't even shooting his gun.
Yeah.
So, the Ranger looked pretty much the same.
Yeah,
but I have not
100%.
played Ranger a whole lot, so I would probably not notice anyways.
Ranger's nice because it's straightforward. It's just fucking straight up. You're just shooting and blowing shit up.
And they can run.
Yeah. Which the run looks a lot. Well, are they doing the run from 5? It doesn't even seem like they are.
No, this
looks like a normal run.
Faster in general.
Yeah. I'd be interested in seeing if they kept that or not, because that didn't feel good in 5. I'm glad you could do it for long distance running, but the warm up of starting to run felt like shit. So.
And then I'd like to see the other two classes, but I sure those videos out there if we were to actually look. But
yeah,
for the sake of this video, it did kind of suck not being able to see them. It is interesting. It does look like maybe this is just a continuation from 5's story, with the world being destroyed like this.
Yeah, possibly.
Or this is just the map they wanted to use for showcasing. I don't know, but
well, and all the games have to do with alien invasions happening, and they just kind of start from the beginning again and tell a different style story. So
right.
This could be a new. I mean, it could be a continuation from 5. That'd be interesting. But given the end of 4.1, 5's not a continuation of it. So this could be a new version of the Earth already got attacked, and you're trying to take it back, kind of situation.
True.
Which would be interesting. So, like we already I've said it a million times. Fucking, I don't need to be sold on EDF. I love EDF. This quality is fucking garbage. But seeing it was cool. It just made me want to play it. A lot of changes, a lot of stuff that's similar. I am left with questions that I want to know more about. So, as like what they did with that class and what they've done with the other classes, if they're so bold as to do that big of a change with that class, and hopefully there is Air Raider. I keep saying that class. Hopefully there's still vehicles and all the stuff that we're used to with that, because it'd be a huge change if they didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like EDF, and I already want to play it, and I'll buy it fucking day one. So yeah, cool to see. Anything else?
No, I mean, this video is for us.
This is
yeah.
Someone's watching right now going like, why the fuck do you even want to play this? It's a fun game. So yeah, let us know in the comments, what do you think of Earth Defense Force 6? Are you interested or not interested? What do you think about the changes they've made to the classes? Do you know and can clarify if Air Raider is still like the prior class, or is this like a brand new thing that they're doing with the drones, or a little bit of both? And have you played prior EDFs? Do you like them? Do you not like them? We actually have somebody in our community who does not like these games at all. So, which is interesting, because it means they hate fun.
Heard it here.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let us know everything in the comments below. Last video we got, we're gonna watch, because it was requested of me by a couple people, Ghost Recon Frontline full announcement video. This happened on the 5th. And this just goes further into the what the fuck is Ubisoft doing question that keeps coming up with all their releases. So I have not watched this video, but I've heard about this game. Ghost Recon Frontline is a battle royale in the Ghost Recon brand. And it's a game that they are going to release, I believe, free to play. And we're going to find out about it. But, I mean, mostly this is just... this is probably just gonna annoy me, because Ubisoft is, outside of Far Cry 6, which is a fun game, it seems like they're making a lot of mistakes in what they're doing with their branding and what they won't fucking make. And I don't know anybody who's looking for a Ghost Recon battle royale, especially in 2021. So, got anything to say before we watch this?
I thought they made a battle royale already.
Hyperscape. Nobody plays it. No one talks about it.
Yeah, so...
They also made a game called X Defiant. Nobody plays it. No one talks about it.
So yeah, that's a question mark for me. And I'm for transparency's sake, I don't play a lot of Ubisoft games.
Mhm.
And then secondly, Ghost Recon. This isn't a question as much as like an observation. It's has turned into their like, I want to make a game. Let's just slap Ghost Recon on it.
It's kind of been that for a long time. They made Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, which was an early mistake in the series. I didn't really like that too much. But then they made Future Fighter or something like that that had invisibility, which I fucking hated because I'm like, in a game that you're supposed to be like doing these like stealth ops and shit, you're gonna give people like OP powers. And then yeah, they made Wildlands, which I thought was a fun game. It's not the direction I wanted Ghost Recon to go in, but it was fun. But then they made fucking Breakpoint, which they have improved with their Ghost mode or whatever the fuck it's called. But it's the wrong direction for Ghost Recon. They've just been bastardizing Ghost Recon for a long time now.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of at this point on brand for bastardizing it. So I mean, you're right in the sense that yeah, Ghost Recon they do definitely do a lot more experimentation with. I think it's because it's not as popular.
It feels like the name has zero identity.
Now it doesn't. Yeah, before it did. Before you had Rainbow Six, which was more tactical ops indoors, SWAT team type stuff. And then Ghost Recon was like outdoor operations. And now it's still that, but they're getting really. They tried to turn into a looter shooter and all this shit and kind of followed the Far Cry formula with Wildlands, and it was a fun game, but it's just like it lacked an identity. It didn't feel like a Ghost Recon game. And then Rainbow Six, I think had a pretty good run for a while, and then Siege happened, and I think Siege is on brand and all that stuff, but because of the success of Siege, they're not gonna fucking make like a Rainbow Six the way people want it, like again. I don't think.
Yeah.
Until Siege doesn't do well anymore and people are just clamoring for like a legit like co-op Rainbow Six game. They've tarnished the fucking Tom Clancy name.
Yeah.
They won't make a Splinter Cell. They'll put Splinter Cell in every game. I'm already bitching. I haven't even watched this.
I suppose I imagine this is just going to support what I'm about to say, but it seems like Ubisoft is in its comfort point. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah, we got to come up with a word for that because companies do it.
Yeah.
They get complacent and they're living off of great success, and then they make garbage, and then eventually they piss off their community. And then hopefully they make a comeback. Konami still hasn't done that. They just went real low and then they went, fuck you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And now they're like,
And then
I read
re-releasing
I
things.
read a thing recently. I talked about it earlier that they're thinking about bringing some things back, but they also are inviting indie developers for ideas that they might want to do with some of their old brands. So they're really like right now in the market for like, hey, can somebody make us money with all these brands we own?
They want to continue capitalizing on their IPs because they obviously were not interested in selling them. But they don't want to pay someone on a Kojima level.
They want to make fucking a shit version of Contra. They want to fucking wipe their ass with Metal Gear Solid, with Metal Gear Survive. They don't fucking care. Hopefully, maybe something has changed in the company, and now that they're going, hey, maybe people want to start making games for us again in these brands that are fucking huge that make us so much money. Maybe they're reorganized and maybe they're going to attack this in a different way. But with the prior way they're looking at their games, the way they're acting, and the way they're unapologetic about fucking just completely wasting these beloved franchises, I have no faith in them.
Also, imagine being a company that had the ability to make AAA games and publish AAA games. Yep. Not being interested in doing that in a time where it is the largest entertainment medium in the world.
Yeah, I mean that's their mindset is like checked out.
It's bizarre.
It's fucking crazy.
Anyways, let's watch this.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is a battle royale. We're gonna watch it.
All right.
it. Ghost Recon building.
Much talking.
Oh, he's ready for it. Look how excited he is.
Hello, Ghosts. My name is Razvan, and I'm a community developer at Ubisoft Bucharest. Myself and the team here in Bucharest are excited to finally share what we've been working on for the past 3 years. Let's take a look.
Damn, they put 3 years into this?
They didn't put 3 years into the camera angles to make it not look like he was reading something, though.
I mean, at least it's not neon colored, as they like to say, punk bullshit that Ubisoft loves to fucking do with X-Define, a game no one fucking cares about. And Hyperscape. But how are you gonna fucking make what I would argue at this point being like a more PUBG style battle royale? How are you gonna make that now?
Yeah, I mean, the whole...
I think this is gonna be better than Hyperscape.
Probably. The only thing...
You don't know what I'm talking about.
It's got to bring something that's going to be more than week. To compete against, I would say, Fortnite and Apex.
Warzone. Yeah, Warzone is the biggest one.
It's going to be awesome.
So one thing that was interesting is you can drop in
Stuff.
like tactical.
We hope you enjoyed the trailer and this very first look at our
towers
next
and
game.
shit. That's interesting.
Frontline is a
but
brand new installment in the
That's not a
franchise,
replacement for
taking
building,
the
though.
tactical heritage
that's
of
what it
Ghost
kind of reminded
Recon
me of, is
and
it's like a
expanding
middle
upon
ground
it within a
between, like, how do we
large-scale
keep this game
PvP
realistic and how do we
experience
make
where you
Fortnite?
choose how you want to win. Now, I'd like to pass the mic to the rest of the team who are
Is he
eager
shy?
to tell
Wanna
you
look at the
more
camera?
about our vision
Reading the
behind the
script.
project.
He definitely is.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if that's what keeps him safe and keeps the information coming out, whatever. Like, it's a nitpick. They just did really bad
Seems
camera stuff.
impersonal.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to Bucharest and the world reveal of a brand new experience in the Ghost Recon universe.
I think Bucharest is a
Tom
real
Clancy's
place.
Ghost Recon Frontline is
feel
an
like this is a
exciting
fake
new
city
addition within the
Ubisoft made.
franchise, driven by our very personal take on a military authentic massive PvP shooter. We are bringing you a tactical action game with a dynamically
We are
evolving pace
hoping this will
and
be
freedom
as
of approach at its
successful as Rainbow Six Siege.
core. In Ghost Recon Frontline, you are
We
at the
need
heart of the
more
action,
of our brands
and it's up to
as
you to decide how you're going to
service
Always
outthink,
online service
outmaneuver,
games.
and outplay your opponents.
They
Because in
literally
this
said they
combat
were going
zone,
this direction
there's
too, and they're
always
fucking
more
doing
than
it.
one
Like,
path to victory.
Jumping into the game
Like,
is
we're gonna start
simple.
working on
Just
more
choose a
online games and
contractor,
more free-to-play
pick a
games
game
and
mode,
shit.
and
It's
get
like,
to it.
dude, you're fucking Ubisoft.
Progression
What are you
comes
talking
from
about?
improving
Well,
your
it's
expertise
crazy
with different
too, because,
weapons,
like,
completing
obviously,
objectives, and unlocking new recruits
EA
for your
tried
team.
saying the same thing, except
Contractors
for
will
the
be generated from a pool of
It's
various
borderline
nationalities,
insulting, and so they got
military
way
origins, looks,
harsher
and
criticism
classes,
about it.
each with their own
But,
specialization,
I would argue
development
right now,
paths, and
Ubisoft,
loadouts to benefit
at least
your
in
team.
the circles
Classes
that
are
I
highly
listen to,
specialized,
which,
filling in
you know,
distinct tactical
there's a
roles.
small little chunk
The
of the
Assault,
world,
for
whatever.
example, provides great sustainability in
people
close
are
range
catching
fights
on to what
and overall
Ubisoft's doing,
proficiency
like,
in offensive maneuvers.
who aren't in the league the same
The
way.
support class can offer superior protection thanks to their fortification abilities that will let you defend your position much easier, while the scout
You're
can
bastardizing
easily
all your
recon the
fucking
area for
brands.
their
There's a
team,
rumor that the
revealing
next
and
Far Cry,
pestering
they're
your
working
enemies
on,
from a
like a
distance
survival,
without fear of
battle
reprisal.
royale style
These are just
Far Cry
3
game.
examples of what
I
we're
don't want
planning to be
that.
available at launch, with more to be added during seasonal
I wouldn't be
updates.
fucking surprised if they
The
made an
soldiers you
Assassin's Creed
choose
battle royale.
will radically shape how your
Or
team
online
progresses
game.
and
They're gonna
accomplishes
make
goals.
an arcade
No two players will have the same fate, so you must
these
think
guys-
fast
whatever
on your
the fuck
feet
that is,
and
they're so
adapt to the
vague about
situation
it.
at hand. Ghost Recon Frontline is about complete strategic freedom. In our flagship mode
So is any
called
game with a fucking
Expedition,
open world and you
players
got
are
guns.
dropped onto the island of Drakemore in 3-person squads, tasked with finding
Drakemore.
crucial intel scattered across the landscape. Drakemore is a vast open world filled with distinct
Okay, so
biomes and
three-player,
landmarks to explore.
collecting stuff.
That's a good thing, because there'll be more than 100 players active at once, all vying for the same intel. Once you're done collecting, it's time to head to a drop zone and call for an extraction. Now, here's where it gets really tense. Extraction is quite noisy. Every team on the island will see your position and will be gunning for your ride. If they intercept you before you successfully extract, they can steal it and use it for
cheesy,
their own.
but they're selling
How
it,
you will
right?
try the win is entirely up to you.
Just explain
Gather
shit that
intel
is
and
in
extract in
other
a hail of
battle royales,
bullets,
like,
or lie in
extraction's
wait
gonna be
for another
messy.
team's
Yeah, no
extraction
shit.
It just
and
seems
play
like they're
the
not going to
spoiler.
do the circle
This
method.
is just the tip
They're
of the
doing
iceberg
kind of
when
like
it comes to the freedom you have in setting your own objectives and shaping the game your way, ensuring that no match will play the same.
Frontline is still a Ghost Recon game, built on its core values. This means its gameplay, it's all about creating your own solutions to overcome different situations. We've brought it into a first-person perspective to heighten your immersion and retailer the core mechanics from the ground up to emphasize reactivity. Everything from the way you move to the way your gun handles feels faster, sharper, and more responsive. All of this to provide a seamless and satisfying experience.
While Expedition will be our flagship mode and the heart of Frontline, there will be other, more casual options added for those who want to get some quick access, traditional arena shooter experience, or simply test their new ideas for loadout, class composition, or tactical support setup. We'll be rolling out a suite of unique modes to allow player greater variety in gameplay options as our game world evolves with each season. No matter what your preference is, we are committed to making sure this title has something for everyone. As huge fans of PvP shooters, our team knows that creating a balanced and fun experience requires a lot of testing and iteration based on players' feedback. Without your involvement, it simply cannot happen. That's why we don't just want to hear your feedback. We want you to see how it affects our journey to deliver the most polished and entertaining experience possible. You'll be able to put your tactical preparation to the test in Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Frontline soon. Registration for our upcoming tests are now open, and I'm thrilled to let you know that many of you will be able to play the game in our European PC closed test with other platforms to be announced at a later phase. Make sure to sign up to this link to get more info and a chance to play the game.
Fucking,
Keep in mind,
taken like the
Frontline
scavengers
is still
approach
in
and had
early
like
development,
a PvE,
but because of this,
PvP
you,
element
the
to
players,
it.
have a chance to shape the
Just 100
experience
fucking
before its
people
final
running around
release.
with machine guns.
So, if you want to help
and
decide the
pretending that you're
direction
having
for
a
this
fucking
exciting new
tactical
chapter in the
experience.
Ghost Recon
Yeah.
saga, be sure to sign
It's
up for the
ridiculous.
upcoming closed test. There will be plenty more from Ghost Recon Frontline in the coming months. So for all the latest news and details, make sure to follow our social channels and share your
Imagine being
excitement with
able
the
to work on this
community
game
and
and
the
knowing
team.
Ubisoft released
That's
like
all
less
for
than
now,
a year ago.
but
a
we'll
fucking
have
other
more
battle
updates
royale,
coming your way
and
in
now
the
you're
very
like, I
near
hope ours was
future.
fucking
We hope you
successful.
enjoyed what you've seen so far, and we can't wait
Because
to
we
show
can
you
only have
more
so many
of Ghost
failures.
Recon Frontline. And
Next
once
year will be
again,
Rayman.
we wish you all a happy 20th anniversary,
Rayman
Ghosts.
Royale.
Thanks
That's
for
what it
watching,
said.
and see you all very soon.
Quick. What do we think?
So I'm the wrong person for multiple reasons for this. I don't like battle royals. I don't like most Ubisoft games, to be honest, because I'm not the audience. It has nothing to do with quality, though lately that could be argued. But in general, they don't make games for me. So I don't pay a lot of attention to their games anyways. The thing I'm seeing here is it feels like they're like 3-4 years behind. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And the other thing I kind of wanted to say is I think it's also kind of weird that EA, who has not said a whole lot lately, has more exciting stuff coming than Ubisoft right now.
Yeah,
And
maybe
that's
there's a fucking
really weird.
Maybe there's a shift happening.
So
we're getting a dead space from EA. Well, and BioWare's keeping their mouth shut, working on a bunch of games.
Yeah, it's really weird, and that obviously came to their wallet got hit hard enough finally.
Yeah.
And
public reception was reflecting the money they're
well, I'm
making.
sure shareholders were pissed because they're constantly like under, not them personally, but like their investment was constantly under negative.
Well, I think Anthem was the big hit.
Well, yeah, and service games, I'm sure, are not cheap.
No.
They have to be successful because you want constant income coming from them. So, yeah, it's a little weird to see, and for multiple reasons. And you're gonna have a lot more like deep things to say about this, obviously.
I've already said my piece, but yeah.
But they already made a battle royale. It's the same company, man. They've already made one, and instead of like trying to advertise or make adjustments to that, I mean, I don't hear about it, which is not good. It feels abandoned. So I don't know. They talk about Siege at every event possible, and support the crap out of that game. Hell, they even still talk about For Honor sometimes.
Fucking rarely.
That battle royale literally doesn't exist, and now they're already trying to replace it. And sadly, not crazy to think that a Far Cry or even an Assassin's Creed battle royale could exist because they
Or
just
the Far Cry survival game that possibly has been rumored.
Yeah, they just they're throwing things out there and hoping one sticks. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. That's what it fucking feels like with Ubisoft lately. It seems like they're just hoping something's gonna catch on. I think they want another Siege.
Yeah.
Because Siege was a fucking really good idea. I stopped playing it early on because fucking the community sucked, and I don't know, the amount of operators they kept adding, and they said early on they're gonna add like 80 of them or some shit, but started to make the game feel kind of more wacky, I guess.
Balance is gonna be real rough.
But like the idea of having these like small skirmishes in fucking hallways and destructible walls and shit is like, people are still not doing that. It's fucking crazy. No one's tried to at least copy them. Because it's like it's the one thing that people are still playing a shitload of from Ubisoft outside of Assassin's Creed, which is something they're already starting to fuck with. So anyway, I think they want another Siege. I think they want another game that they can fucking advertise, do competitive stuff with, get constant fucking monetization from.
Yeah.
And it's just bizarre because they have all these properties and they're just turning them all into fucking online free to play games as a service games. They're gonna ruin the identity of these games until they'll get dragged for too long and they finally go like, here's the game you've been waiting for. We have to go through this fucking process to get to that point though. Like, we're gonna get a Splinter Cell eventually, I assume. But we're not getting it now. And fucking I don't know. My brain's all over the fucking place because like it's just ridiculous. Fucking Splinter Cell they won't make. Eventually they will, but right now they're not for whatever fucking reason. They're not. They don't make a fucking single player cooperative stealth game because it's not going to make the same money as Siege. They won't make a new Rainbow Six, or even make like a more traditional Rainbow Six because fucking Siege is too popular. Ghost Recon they just keep fucking with and try and turn it into a looter shooter when they already got the Division, which I like the Division 1 and 2. I think 2 is really good. You don't need another one. You already have it. And then, yeah, they're just fucking throwing battle royales out there. And like, well, one of these be as good as a fucking Warzone, please. As good as Fortnite? No, dude, you're late. You can't just hop in. You need some kind of revolutionary idea. I mean, that Warzone even broke in is kind of crazy. It's Call of Duty, and it has that Call of Duty fucking tightness to the combat. But yeah, you got to bring something. Hyperscape didn't have shit. Fucking this ain't gonna bring shit. Oh man, it's just so annoying. They have so many properties I fucking love.
Well, and the worst part, I think, when it comes to Ubisoft, and they already were kind of bad about it anyways, is everything they make is just homogenized.
Yeah.
You were kind of getting that anyways, where like, Assassin's Creed and Far Cry both have similar systems and whatever.
Well, in Wildlands.
Yeah, it's just the Ubisoft systems,
Yeah.
right? And it just seems like they just are going to continue leaning into that homogenization because what they're looking for is the secret sauce.
What works? Yeah, exactly.
They're not looking to make games. They're trying to make the essentially the ATM machine for them.
Yeah.
So, and that sucks. I hate to bring it up again, but it's the same problem everyone's having with Blizzard right now. Is they don't feel like they want to make video games. They feel like they want to make a thing that you'll give them money for.
Yep.
So,
Nintendo did that. Square Enix did that. Fucking Capcom did that. Konami gave up. Fucking Bethesda has done it. BioWare was falling into that trap. So it happens to everybody. It's just really frustrating because, like, Ubisoft's just doing it all at once. Just fucking, we don't want to make anything you guys want. We're trying to get something that you're going to fucking pour your money into. And it's not this. I'm going to try this for sure. It looks more interesting than Hyperscape. But, like, I don't give a fuck about Battle Royales because the progression's bullshit. It's not interesting to me. I don't give a fuck about cosmetics. I don't give a fuck about being number one in a game that, like, being number one doesn't mean shit outside. You can tell somebody that fucking you won a match in a battle royale. Like, it's all superficial bullshit. It doesn't matter. Like,
it's just chasing the dragon.
Yeah. And then every once in a while going like, well, I got $10, I could throw it in here. Well, I got $15, I could throw it in here. I have $5.
What's the mobile game mentality?
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's just fucking garbage. And I defend battle royales. I think, people enjoy them. I've enjoyed a couple. Makes sense to me, but at the same time, like I said, unless you're bringing something to it, it's fucking it's over at this point. Like,
the crappy part about it too is, like, I understand. I don't agree with, but I understand the appeal of to bring up the mobile game thing again. Those game, like, mobile games make so much money. It, like,
for minimal development,
it dwarfs AAA development.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to check out how much money a mobile game makes, it's insane.
Yeah.
I understand that chasing that, but stop using established IPs for it. Make something new.
Yeah.
Experiment there.
Well, it's the same
and
fucking
keep
problem.
your loyal people where they're at, because what you're doing is you're long term losing respect and reputation,
and you're destroying the brand you're trying to milk. Like, for the long term, it's the same shit in fucking Hollywood, dude. Like, people don't come up with their own shit. They just fucking take a character that already exists, change it up in some way that they think is going to appease somebody else, or they fucking just reboot something over and over and over again. These are just cheap and lazy ways to make some money off people who are willing to take the risk to go, oh, maybe it's interesting. I remember that. I liked that. Maybe this is cool. It's just lazy and just shows a lack of respect for your player base. Especially when anybody who grew up playing fucking Ghost Recon, you're not getting those games anymore. So you're not appealing to those fucking people. Rainbow Six, anyone who's into multiplayer, you might have appealed to them. You did to me for a little bit. But anybody who likes, like, those old school, even the Vegas series, we're not getting those fucking games anymore. So that series is goddamn dead to us at this point. Splinter Cell, they won't make it. So fucking no one's getting those games. So they're essentially, with all the shit, and we'll see what they do with Assassin's Creed, they're abandoning, and they already have, anyone who these brands fucking matter to. They're just trying to get people who are willing to, I mean, probably kids. I hate when people are like, oh, only kids play Battle Royales. Everyone plays them. But they're appealing to younger people because they don't got fucking funds. You can just download the game and play it.
Yeah, it's hard to say, like, you can't, like, point the finger at Battle Royales. The factor is it's a free game.
Yeah, just like mobile. A lot of kids play mobile fucking games. And they have transactions you can do through your, AT&T or Verizon or whatever, and then your parents get pissed at you because you fucking bought a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but a lot of adults who work 40, hour work weeks also play free to play games.
Yeah.
And have expendable income to dump into them. Yep. So you can't. They're definitely not just aiming at kids. Adults have more money. So.
For sure. Oh yeah. That's where the money's at. But you need people to play your game.
Yeah.
To have people keep coming and playing it. So it's win-win having free to play because you get a free and easy community.
Yeah, I would say if I learned anything from my stint in even gotcha games, your whales are typically your people who make 100K. Like those are your whales usually.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you have an excess of money, fucking, you're not
Yeah.
gonna care about fucking dumping money into a game like that.
Or it's just a person who makes that on their own. They don't, and so the income, they're working too much to do anything, and so the income goes into the game they play.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it turned into a tangent.
Yeah, this is turning into a whole thing. I'm not interested in this game. I mean, I'll try it out when it comes out. It's gonna be free to play, so I have nothing to lose. But it doesn't look like anything that I'm interested in specifically for the brand. It feels like a bastardization, like the rest of the things they're doing with Ubisoft properties. They're tarnishing Tom Clancy as a brand for their games. They're showing that they are going all in on the online shit and the free to play stuff. Trying to get that money. I don't respect that. I don't like the direction Ubisoft is going in. Far Cry 6 is fun. Assassin's Creed Valhalla I play a little bit of, but I've mostly heard people fucking really like it. So far those are safe for now. But we'll see what the fuck happens with those. Outside of that, it seems like all their brands are all being locked into how can we make the most amount of money from people, which sucks. So it's gonna be a while until I get a good Ubisoft game. They gotta go through the backlash phase before they come back. But they're going in that direction very fucking fast, like faster than most developers or publishers.
So I mean, they've always been fast though. Anytime people complain, they were fast to change things. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
it is disappointing, even from someone who like doesn't really play their IPs that often. So
yeah, it's fucking stupid. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Ghost Recon Frontline. Are you excited to play it? You're not excited to play it? Are you excited for a new battle royale? Do you not give a fuck about that? What do you think about Ubisoft and the state of what they're doing with their properties? Are you happy with the direction they're going? Would you prefer them go in a different direction? Perhaps are you one of those people like me who wants Splinter Cell, or like a cooperative tactical Ghost Recon, or a cooperative tactical Rainbow Six? Anything like that? Or are you stoked about the free-to-play games? Let us know in the comments below everything you're thinking about Frontline and everything else we watched. And we are not going to... Why is it not pausing? Frontline's forever. We are not going to be doing our replying to your comments segment just because of the time that we were in quarantine and that coinciding with our Game of the Month voting. That was primarily the comments we got. I'm not going to go through and read you guys' votes. We've already covered that. And, Grand Theft Auto Online is our winner, in case you don't know. But we did get a couple comments, pretty much well-wishing, hoping that we're doing good during that time. I just want to say to all of you that, we're thinking about us and hoping we're doing well. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your concern. We're doing great. We're super healthy now. Everything's awesome.
Back to being tired.
But yeah, just back to normal. But I just want to say thank you for everybody who commented about that. Things weren't super serious, but it was sketchy to have that situation going on, and
the new bug
is very, very appreciated. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 149, right? As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check out our socials and our stream links down below. We have Discord. Talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us, especially when we have episodes that are 3.5 hours long. Maybe you want to listen to that over on your favorite podcast website. Go do that. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel, more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. We've enjoyed having this conversation with you guys. Make sure to comment. And until the next episode, which will be most likely at the very latest this upcoming weekend, because we're trying to get back on normal schedule. Have a good one, guys, and take it easy.